think we are live. Hey, it's Whiskey Chat with Telex here, and we're going to talk about the Laphroaig distillery. And with me is Mr. Stephen Connor from, I believe, Nashville. Oh, no, I do hear myself, so let me get that fixed.
All right, let's see.
I fixed it. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's Whiskey Chat with.
I think I hear myself coming through yours now or something.
Here, hold on a second. I'm going to use the phone volume.
That's cool. I think it's gone now, so we're good.
Yeah, it's computer. It was my computer, the issue.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's sometimes the toughest thing with this is the feedback loops or the endless loops that you get in the middle of when you're talking with all these mics. Because this computer's got a couple mics built in. The camera's got a mic built in. Hey, Loch, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. I'm gonna go over the reintroduce here in a second. We were having some technical difficulties, and it happens to the best of us. I've been working in IT since the early 80s, believe it or not, and I still have problems with this kind of stuff. But this is Stephen Connor. We're going to talk about the Laphroaig distillery, which is, I know it's one of my favorites, and I'm pretty sure it's one of your favorites too, Stephen. I remember you were talking about going to the distillery to take a look around recently. Tell us a little about yourself and what you have in mind for Laphroaig.
Well, I started off kind of like just my journey, quick thing. Stephen Connor from Nashville, Tennessee. And kind of my Scotch journey started with, of course, this is Tennessee, so start off with bourbon. When I was young, I grew up not too far from Jack Daniel's distillery, so Jack was my whiskey of choice for the longest. And then got into bourbon. The bourbon craze took over, and it's still white hot down here. It's incredible. Just how many people are searching for every little bourbon possible, all the newest stuff. So
it's such a craze right now.
It's insane. That's something I'm so glad I'd at least, move over to Scotch more. But, then, got tried a few Scotches. At first I didn't like it because I think I tried Johnny Walker Red when I first tried Scotch. So that's something that kind of turns you off a little bit. But then
mine was the famous Grouse was the first one I hit, and I was like, oh, this is not for me.
So the blends, my single malts, really what got me into it was Scapa 16. Was the first one that I really got easy drinking, 40% ABV, just nice and easy.
I bet you missed that one too, don't you?
Do what?
I bet you missed that 16 of being available too.
I do. You know what? I've let's see. No, I'm out of it. I think I am.
That's a rough one. I even tried to find it when I first started drinking, and I could only find the Skyrim and the Glosna.
No, I like it, but you know what? I've kind of evolved from that. It was a good, entry Scotch. There's definitely no peat. Very easy drinking. And then Bunnahabhain 18. And then Ardbeg Ugadel was what really just kind of that just put me down the path of peat, and I love it all. I'm a big probably Isla is my favorite. It is my favorite. But Highlands, a lot of Highlands too. Ben Nevis is one that I've had a big kick on lately. Drinking Talisker, a lot of the islands, or it's part of the Highland region, but I consider it not say islands, but Highland Park, Talisker, those are some of my favorites too. So
same here, definitely.
Glendronach from the Highlands, also very close to Speyside, but a Highland malt. So
it looks like Donner and Trooper joined us too. Good to see you guys. Trooper's probably down there in Louisiana on the oil rig. Maybe he's usually down on an oil rig when he joins the show, believe it or not. But what you drinking, guys? Let us know. We're about to look into something very special, and I'll get into all the categories and all that in a second. I want to definitely take time to look at this one because I've had the 27, I've had the 18, but I've never had a distillery a 25. And this is from 2015 that Mr. Connor's been gracious enough to share, and I'm very excited to try it with you.
Well, I can tell you this is a 2015 release, and I think this is one of the better 25s that I've had. So there can be fantastic. Some are fine. I mean, there's no bad ones, right? I mean, it's Laphroaig 25, but it's some are better than others. And I think this is a great one, especially after it opens up on the nose. It's I mean, to me, it's balance. That's what it's not overly, you get it, but you get a lot of other notes coming out of it.
It's funny because I mean, of course, that trademark iodine TCP type of peat hit me, but one of the first notes also on the side was like some like creamy aspects, the barley,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I said, it's
refined.
very balanced. It's not what and I've had some older Laphroaigs that we'll try one here in a second that will punch you in the face a little bit to 20, but this one is very refined and lower, not too. I think the proof on this, let's see, proof.
The interesting thing is it holds its shape really well. It's got a nice viscosity. It seems like it's not going to be thin, and thankfully Laphroaig's not known for being a thin whiskey. Thank goodness.
Yeah. 46.8% is the ABV.
46.8 is pretty close to being perfect. I like a 48, but I'll 46 is a hell of a lot better than 43 and lower.
Well, I think I was mentioning that's one reason why some of the some of the Laphroaigs now, I know they've come out. They're coming. I just saw a notice today. They're coming out with a 25-year-old, but it's going to be 43%, and it's a retail exclusive.
There's some really interesting herbal notes to me on this that are really, really good. Like maybe a little smidgen of some mint, and maybe like it's not as dark as basil, but it's not as light as rosemary. It's somewhere in between. It's not floral like a lilac or anything like that, but there's something else also herbal.
No, there's a big herbal note. I'm getting that too on it.
I love that. It's not overly oaky or woody. I like when it's like you said, it's balanced with the woodish, the oaky stuff and the herbal with the peat and the cream, and it's just everywhere.
Yeah, this is one you can really sit with for a while and pick out of a lot of things out of it.
And I love I call it the antique factor. You can definitely sense the age on the nose too.
I don't know if that's like a herbal. See, I'm not it's hard for me to pick sometimes these notes because I'm not a cook. So it's hard for me to like pick some of these things that maybe someone who cooks a lot would pick out. But I'm definitely getting the herbal and I don't know if it's a tea smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, there's like a hint of pine and also like a tea, like a not too dark, but like a mid-grade tea factor going on.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really nice. I gotta taste it.
Oh, let's do it.
Oh my. And that's the beautiful thing. I mean, it's wow. It's got some I want to say sprightly effervescence to it for such an older Scotch too. I mean, it's got a little. I guess the peat is definitely giving it some zazz.
Yeah, no, it's I'm getting kind of I'm starting to get a little more fruit notes as it opens up, sits in the glass.
I'm getting like a really nice buttery mouth coat too.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like almost a sugar cookie finish, and
yeah, it's not too sweet, which is that's one thing. And you've had the Laphroaig 18, which I do like, and I've got a couple, but I find that one it's a little sweet to me. It's a little sweeter than. I like it, but I it's very sweet compared to this. It's sweeter than this.
I definitely appreciate a more savory dram too. I do have a sweet tooth, so I am a big fan of the 18. But you're right, there are like lots of ginger, almost cinnamony aspects to it that are on the sweeter end in the 18. This one definitely has a nice, more refined mint tea savory.
Mhm.
But the fruit it balances gives it some sweetness to balance out.
Yeah, it
It's not,
does. No
you know,
doubt
it's not.
about it. But it's not. It's not super. Yeah, it's still the fruit, and I think that comes out more probably with water. If we added a little bit of water, I bet the fruit would come out a little bit more.
Let's give that a little try. Actually, I got a little pipette or whatever you call it here, and I'm a big fan of the fruit too on the side. So this is up my alley. Just kind of, and I always make sure I take a little couple drops at the most because I don't want to overdo it, especially with such
Yeah,
a nice
I'm getting
older
the fruit
whiskey.
now.
It's very
Keep it on your
delicate.
nose. Now, I don't have much in my glass, so I added about 4 drops, so that's a lot for the small amount. But more of the overly ripe fruits I'm getting, orchard fruits.
Earlier, Trooper said he was having the Talisker Dark Storm. Are you a fan of that one?
Yeah, I'm a Talisker fan, huge. I've just been stuck on the older cast strength ones. And
For a real,
the 8 year from last year is great too. I've got that, but once I tried the cast strength, I was like, can I find these anywhere and everywhere? And it's been difficult, but I've been able to find a few. And the Dark Storm is great for the price.
yeah,
Especially after it went down in price, it used to be way too much, but the
it's
10.
travel retail exclusive usually, but I think you can order it overseas fairly easily, right?
Which one?
The Dark Storm.
Oh yeah. It's local. I mean, you can get it here locally easily. I mean,
Oh wow, okay. You
yeah.
don't have to do travel retail there to get it.
No, not the Dark Storm. No.
Oh, okay, cool.
Am I thinking of another one? Am I thinking of the?
There's a regular Storm that's usually
I'm
available.
thinking you're right. I'm sorry. I've had the Dark Storm in Scotland, but it's the Storm is what I'm thinking of, and it's here, but not you can't get the Dark Storm here. I think that travel retail only.
Yeah, typically you can. I think you can order it overseas if you play your cards right in a certain way, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But
Some of those places sell. They get the travel. They go and get them. Somebody goes and buys a bunch of it, cases, and then they sell. They go to the distillery, do the same thing, but some of these retailers will resell it back to people that cannot get it at the distillery.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I was wondering how they were able to do that kind of thing. Because I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I call it a travel retail exclusive if it's not really exclusive to travel retail. It also, I was going to say, Trooper loves the 200th anniversary of the 15 Laphroaig. Yeah, the Laphroaig 15 is one of my favorites. I never had the green old 15, but the that white 15, I think it's the white one. It's whatever the newest version of. I thought it was pretty good, and I missed the 18 as well. It's
Yeah.
the only Laphroaig I've ever had that was kind of maybe I thought that maybe missed the mark a little was the Select.
I'm not a fan of the Select. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the quarter. I mean, the quarter cask is great. That's probably the triple wood. That's a good one too. The lore, I like the lore 9H statement, but I do like it.
Compared to like other distilleries, when you're thinking about taste from like as Laphroaig as a whole, 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would you give a rating of a Laphroaig, you think? I mean, I have to give them pretty high score. I'm thinking like a 9 for myself.
Yeah, I mean, from a taste from the great ones I've had, I mean that I would say 9, 8.5. I'm a pretty hard grader, so I mean 8.5, 9, around there. I mean, it's up there. The other Isla distilleries I love are, of course, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, Bunnahabhain. I've not had a lot of Bowmore that I like, but when I was over in Scotland, I had some that was incredible. So I think it's a matter of me not being a big fan of their core range, but there's a lot of specialty releases they put out that are good.
Yeah.
Really the South Island part though, those three though are probably, and Bunnahabhain too, which especially I think they do a great job, and just some great people too. They were super nice up there at Bunnahabhain when I went to visit.
Donnie was saying that he missed the beginning. You've got a lot of nice bottles on the shelf. He wants to know if you have a channel or if you're thinking about doing one. Or
no, I don't. I mean, I'm too busy.
I hear you.
I got a 2-year-old, and I'm 47 with a 2-year-old. Man, I can barely stand up half the time. I get tired. So
I hear you there.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. It's hard enough to do this one day a week
Yeah.
and kind of just keep your head above the waterline. 15th anniversary was in the green can. Okay, that's what I was thinking. 'Cause I remember the 18, the new one was a white, but I couldn't remember.
Right. Older 18 was green can.
Yeah, but he
And
was
then
sick with the 15, and I couldn't remember if there was ever a white 15 or not. But I think they were all green.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. They were when they came back out with the 15, it was the 2015, the 200th anniversary one. But I've had a sample of the older 15. It was fantastic. And it was probably a 90s version, I think, if I'm not mistaken, late mid to 90s. But I know that what's funny is one thing that separates Laphroaig from all the other distilleries is the Royal Warrant, Prince Charles, and that's the 15 is his supposedly his favorite. Supposedly I think they saved a bunch of old ones for him. So
Oh wow!
yeah, but they get that every 5 years, and that was interesting. When I did the tour, they were the most proud of that. That was the thing they were the most proud of. It was kind of I'm like, I didn't really know much about it. I mean, I just knew they had it, but I didn't know the process. But it's just a very intense process every 5 years that they have to go through to get that, to renew it. And they even have to they look at all aspects of including how environmentally conscious Laphroaig is.
Oh wow!
And that's one reason why they still do the peat, cut the peat by hand, is because if they didn't cut it by hand, by doing that they're able to save the top layer. They peel back the top layer, cut the peat, and then lay the top layer back on for it to continue to kind of regenerate, right, the peat. Because if you just do it by machine, it's cutting the top and doing everything. And it's just
really
barren. It's not going to create peat anymore. You don't have the vegetation or anything, so it's not growing. So
it's destructive to the environment when you do things the harshest way. So yeah, if you can do it and not leave such a scar, then why not, right? If it doesn't cost you a fortune to do it. I mean, I understand business is a business sometimes, but you kind of have to play the game of balance, you know?
That's true.
Good to see you, DHS. Thanks for joining us. What are you drinking tonight? Looks like DHS sees all your stuff. He's coming over to your house.
It goes around. It's like we'll have to do that a little later.
He's only showing you like a sliver of the vault, man. You don't even know what this guy's up to. It's a beautiful collection. He was showing me a little bit when we started talking. Like, we've known each other for a while, but we'd never really talked even over the internet before. And he was showing me some of his collection, and I was like, wow. So yeah, well, before he goes, we'll have to have him take us on a little tour and show us around if you don't mind. Laphroaig's pretty limited up there for Loch Ness in Ontario. He's had the 10 quarter cask wood, but they're all fantastic. Yeah. Hey, good to see you, Juan. Quintanilla, I believe is how you say it. Good to see you, man. And let us know what you think on taste, because like it sounds like Steven's like an 8.5. I'm kind of a 9, maybe 8.5 is fair. What do you guys think on taste 1 to 10? I'm just kind of curious before I give him like an official mark. I've got my.
I'm probably 9 when I get down to it.
On my trusty spreadsheet that I've got saved. If you guys want to take a look at it and kind of follow along on the channel, just go to discussion and you'll see a link that I gave out earlier, so you can see all the distilleries that we're going to look at eventually. It's going to take quite a while, but it'll be some fun. And
give me 1 second. My cat is scratching at the door and went out. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I know how it goes. We're looking at the taste, and we're going through different like categories of the distillery, given the marks. 10 being the greatest, 1 being the worst. We're going to do consistency, variety, age statements, availability, which means in stores and bars, a value, how much, to the dollar you're getting, and the craft, how are they actually producing it. And Loch Ness thought taste was a solid 8.5 as well. Trooper 9 on the taste, definitely. So I think it's a fair assessment on the Niner on the taste overall, because I mean, like we talked about, the Select is the only one I think that really missed the mark, even on their lower ABV side, that I just couldn't get into. And it's not designed for us. It's designed for the guy that's just brave enough to start their peat journey. It's, and Laphroaig is one of the more medicinal ones. So when you look at Ardbeg and Laphroaig, it's not usually a distillery you're going to want to start with. So they had to try to find something to sell that would be on the really basic low end floor, and I think that's the only reason why guys like us are just not going to be the market for that.
Yeah, I agree. The select is almost. I mean, I see. Well, you know what? I don't see it. I thought it would be used maybe in cocktails, like some penicillin or some other, Scotch or peaty Scotch cocktails. But I usually see the tin used with that instead of the select. So
exactly. I've never seen the select available at a bar. Usually, it's always a tin, maybe even the cast strength or the some of the others, even the carriages I've seen before I've ever seen the select. So it's kind of weird how that works. Also, on the tail end of that 25, I'm getting some white pepper, almost like a Talisker type of islands, almost kind of that type of finish, which is interesting too.
Yeah, I get that too.
It's like a salty pepper.
It's a great one. I really enjoy it. That's one you can just sit with for a long time and just enjoy and pull things out. And it's not in your face. It's not it's peated, but not to an extreme. I don't think, at least being a peat head. So, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, I am very, very happy with that. I definitely have to be more in the mood for savory. If you're a sweet tooth like me, you do get your hands on the 25 year from 2015. Just keep in mind that you got to be in the mood for something like a Cregellicky or like a Glencadam, or maybe like something that's a little more briny, peppery, and savory than sweet. As long as you're in the mood for that, then I think you're gonna be in good business. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that one. And thankfully, I only poured a little bit, so I've got lots left later. I also poured out earlier the SMWS 29. We'll get to in a second. Let's talk about consistency. And you've, like myself, I mean, you've had a lot more of the higher end stuff than I've had, but I've had my share. I've had been up to the 27ish and the I think even the 30 at some point. But once you get past the 18s and this 25, I think is the threshold where heat return value starts to wane when you get really ultra delicate. But I don't know if that's what's the case. What do you think about like older ones, Laphroaig, like hitting around the 30s area?
Well, I can tell you that I love the older Laphroaigs.
Okay.
I think it's fantastic, especially when you get an older. Yeah, when I say that was done distillates from early 70s or late 60s or something. That I've had a few, not a lot, but I've had a few, and I think they're fantastic. And I know that I had a friend who I trust, and he has a palate very similar to mine. And he was over in Paris and went to one of the big whiskey bars there. I forgot it. It's Les Maisons de Whisky or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not French. I'm from Tennessee. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. But he had a 37-year-old Laphroaig from 1974, and it's a very famous model.
Wow.
It's heavily sherried, but he said it was the best Scotch he's ever had, and he's had a lot.
Wow, that sounds beautiful. Like sherry married with Laphroaig, it brings me to life, because just even the PX cask or some of these, like the Loire, it's like, oh my goodness, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm a huge sweet, like a sweet peat fan when it's done right. I mean, if it's not done right, it can be terrible.
Oh yeah,
balance or whatever. But when it's done right, it's tough to beat. It's really tough to beat. I
got a question for you. We're talking about different types of peat. I thought it was kind of strange. Are you familiar with the Anok distillery at all?
Not a ton. No, honestly, I've had a few, but I'm not very familiar with them.
I've had two of their peated whiskeys. One of them being one called the Flouter, one being one called the Cutter. And it was ironic to me that when I had the Flouter, it was sweet, but it was like a sweet reeky kind of like a peaty tang kind of a peat, like just almost too much. I don't know how. Like, I'm not sure how what. Like I like high phenolic, levels like octomores and stuff, but
Right.
it was just really like almost like a pickleization kind of a peat.
Yeah.
But the cutter was right up my alley. It had that kind of same Lagavulin-esque Ardbegian kind of a peat going on.
Was it like was that other one that you think very smoky? Was it just a Highland peat? Probably wasn't an island. Wasn't any medicinal taste to it, or was it? Do you think?
That's the weird thing is, yeah, I guess it depends on where if they transplanted the peat. If they didn't do it themselves, maybe they got
They probably didn't. They might not have. Yeah, they probably didn't. You know, so more than likely they probably got it from somewhere, right?
it was just ironic at how different they were. I loved the one from the cutter, but I just could not get into one from Flounder at all.
Huh.
It's weird, and they're all from the same distillery and probably the same age kind of range. They're both NASs, but they didn't seem like one was immature versus another. But, hey,
Right.
Swami, good to see you. Is that Steve A? No, this is Steve Connor. Steve A is a guy that works with the Scotch for Dummies on their stuff.
There's a little bit here. There is not a ton, man. I'm holding on to it. I'm trying. My 2-year-old's making me lose a little bit more, but
Stephen Connor is a guy that's just a big fan, and he's been watching us from afar for a while. He's not affiliated with any distillery per se. He's a collector just like we are, and
a drinker. I mean,
and a
I might
drinker.
look like a collector, but I'm a drinker too. They're all to be drunk. At some point in my life, I'm going to drink them. I just can't. I can't drink them fast enough. So
Not area exactly, but he's just willing to share the knowledge. He's been lucky enough to visit Laphroaig Distillery, and has been a fan like myself for a while, and has been able to partake everything from their older crazy high-end stuff down to the select and tins and cast strengths and quarter casts like we all get. So he's able to kind of run the gambit and give a really good overview of the entire all their offerings. And basically, do you think they're consistent pretty much? Like when you get a bottle of a 10 or a quarter cask or even some of the older stuff, when you've had it more than once, is it always pretty consistent as far as what you're getting, you think?
yeah, I think it is. I think and maybe people say this, and I'm probably just being an old cranky sob. A lot of distilleries aren't. They're as more modern distilleries aren't as consistent. They're not as like they used to be. I think just because of demand and things of that nature. So I think the 10 cast strength is pretty consistent. It does change though. Every course it does because it's different
Batch, yeah.
I think this year is better than last year. I think batch 9 was very good. Batch 7 is excellent. There's some really good batches out there. I think that, when I get a standard 10 or if I get a quarter cask or something, it's pretty consistent to me.
What do you guys think in the chat too? Give me a number 1 through 10. 10 being the most consistent thing you've ever got. 1 being it's a toss-up crapshoot. Flip of the coin every time you buy a bottle of what you're going to get. I have to agree. It seems like even with the stuff that I'm not as keen with, like I haven't tasted this Carriages Triple Wood cast strength from this year yet.
It's good. It's young. It's good, but it's good. It's quality. And the last time I had it, I was sitting beside their reservoir where they get their water. So we had that's part of the tour that I did there.
Oh, okay.
And, so it was damn good there. So I mean, it's probably not that good, but it's I think it's still solid for a young. It's still pretty young. So
yeah, that's the thing with the original one. Even though it's not my cup of tea, as far as it's a very woody. It's got of course it's the triple wood. It's going to be I was definitely not getting it thinking it was going to be my favorite. I just wanted to see what it was like, and but it was still good. Once I think it handles water pretty well. And I think that this is going to be perfect because the one complaint I had about the original triple wood was the ABV. I thought could stand a little more strength. So I think being able to play with this version, I think is going to be an overall better experience, maybe, but it'll be a good experiment.
One thing I find with Laphroaig lately, or that I've had in 2 years, and see what everybody else thinks about this, but I do find even with their younger spirits, sometimes I still get a lot of oak character, more than I expect in a younger whiskey, and I find that sometimes Laphroaig, and probably it might be the cask they're using. Of course, porter cask, you're going to get more of the influence, but maybe they are using more quarter cask, even not in quarter cask, the quarter cask. So maybe that might be part of the when they're blending it with other things. But yeah, that's just something that I've noticed with some of them lately.
I guess consistency. I think an 8 would probably be pretty fair for them.
Yeah,
That
they are consistent though. I mean, compared to everybody else, they're consistent.
Yeah, it's thankfully I've ever, other than the cast strength being different batch variations, that's the only one that I think that it hasn't maybe been. And the nice thing about the Carriages series, I can't go as far as back as some of these guys that have the 2008 and 2000. I think it's the 9, the first 2, but the other ones have always been very well from the port wood of the 2013, I think it was. Until now, I think all of the Carriages series have been high quality products. You know what I mean? The only
and I've got a list here. I wrote down a list of because I am a big nerd on this. Just the ones I've had from 2011 to now.
Oh, nice.
But I just I had like 5 minutes today to do this. But the Portwood is of my favorite of the ones that I
mine too.
I also like the Madeira. It was good. And the quarter cast was pretty good. The 2015 was good.
I was gonna say, did you like the malted? I love that one a lot because it had that organic malted barley floor feel.
Well, it was
to it.
100%. Because it was 100% floor malted barley, so it was 100% done at Laphroaig. Because normally, with Laphroaig, about 25% of their barley is malted there, and then the rest of it they get from Port Ellen. Maltery, which is right over there, right behind Port Ellen Distillery, and it's owned by Diageo. So, but most of the distilleries get from there. But and Laphroaig is I think was it them and Kilchoman on the island is the only two that have the floor malting of barley.
No wonder they're both so damn good.
yeah, and that was a great process to see, and their process of how they do the peat too. The peat fire was unusual and great. I mean, it's a cold smoke. It's a cold smoking process. They don't dry it with the peat smoke. They dry it after it's wet. It stays wet in there. They smoke it for, I think it was what did I have down here? What they told me. I think it's I don't know what it says here. 12 to 15 hours. Smoking.
Wow.
So. And then they dry it afterwards, and it's really cool. I got to put some peat on the fire, and then you could stick your hand all the way into it, and the smoke was, because if there's no flame, it's cold. It's cool, which was really cool. So that was a cool experience. I loved it.
It goes to show that and this is the other distillery owners out there. The craft does make a huge difference on the product, and this is why we love Kilchoman and Laphroaig so much, is because they do it the right way. I mean, it doesn't have to be 30 years old or be a really high-end brand like Macallan to be appealing to people, especially like us that are willing to spend a little extra money on a really well done product.
Yeah, that's right.
Looks like Lost Cause wants to put Laphroaig 10 on his married chicken for fajitas. I haven't heard of that before, but I'll have to ask the wife if she can give that a try sometime.
I keep my wife out of this area. I got a door here that stays shut, so she doesn't want to see it anyway, which is fine. So I have an Irish section for her I can take down to her, and she enjoys that. But I try to. And she's starting to get into the sherry whiskey. So
you might have to slap that hand. You have a Murray door. You know what those Murray doors are?
Oh,
it's like one of those hidden ones where you have the bookcase and you have the button you push.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing that down here in my basement.
Yeah, that would be great. I keep I usually keep like a camera on this, and because of I don't want anybody up here in it, so I get a little make sure no one gets in here that doesn't need to be in here.
I've got some motion detection over here too. I know
Yeah. When my son gets a little older, that's what I'm really going to have to crack down.
I've got motion detection here and that goes off the security system. So anything time there's movement, it's like poof, I got you, and, everywhere. You ready to take a look at this SMWS one?
Yeah. Let me. I'll pull up the bottle too, so they can see it. So this is great story about this one. I was, like I said, I was just lucky enough to go to Scotland. So if I know that Swami was talking about going to Scotland next year. He definitely, it's just an incredible experience. I went with my family. I took a 2-year-old there, but I also took my mother-in-law. So,
awesome.
Yeah, well, no, it was great. It was. We wouldn't have been able to do shit if we didn't do that.
Yeah.
So she watched the little one, and then they went and did stuff, and then I would go do my whiskey stuff, and I went to the SMWS bar, one of the bars there in Edinburgh, and just incredible experience. I was there for like 4 hours.
Wow.
Drinking with the bartenders, talking shop, and talking, it was great. We talked whiskey, we talked sports, we talked politics. It was just fantastic. It was great.
That's all you need, and a cigar if you can do it.
Yeah. I don't think there was any smoking allowed in there, but not in this room at least. I'm not a member, so I was at kind of the lower bottom. I wasn't up in but the bartender got off. He got off, and we just sat and talked. He just anyway, he got drinks. We just sat and talked for like a couple hours after he got off work.
That's awesome, man.
But this is the one. This is 29.262.
Thanks for all the medicine, man.
Yeah, thanks for all the medicine. I asked him. I said, "Look, I'm a big Isla fan. What do you have that you can kind of that's newer something? I just like a good island. One of the I was really wanting one of the South distilleries." Either Ardbeg, Lagavulin, or Laphroaig, and he said, we just got this one. It's not even out for to be sold yet. He said,
wow.
We just got it. We got it here, and that's it. So you want to try this one? And it's a 20-year-old Laphroaig second fill barrel ex bourbon. It was
1998.
1998, and 55.6.
Oh my!
So I like this better than 25.
The nose is more interesting off the bat, man. It's like the first thing I got. You'll probably laugh, but the first thing I was able to get out of the nose, which reminded me of a kind of like a Laphroaig 15 in a way, was the cola-esque, like a really nice cola type of sassafras with something deep and dark in there. I'm trying to describe it.
No, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
It's got a really nice deep dankness to it.
It's some dankness. This is like dunnage, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of a Springbank in a way. Yeah.
There's some funk is what I like to say. There's a little bit of
good funk though, like Ben Nevis kind of
funk.
Yeah. Oh man, you picked a really nice one on this.
Yeah, I loved it, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get it. So luckily I was able to get it through kind of whiskey channels. I was able to get a couple of bottles through friends and making friends and doing some trading. So,
and for a bourbon barrel, that's a nice color on that.
Yeah. It's got a lot of it's got a decent amount of bourbon character. The ex bourbon. I get some vanillas on it.
Almost dare I say like a pulled pork barbecue kind of thing going on in the background too.
Yeah, you'll get that more out of that 10. I bet you'll get it out of that 10 when you smell it. Than this one.
But it's interesting though that even though with the deep complexity, I still don't lose that nice part of the trademark.
Stuff, right?
Yeah,
I like the dank stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a little more up my alley compared even to 25 because of the it's got it definitely brings it because it's a 56.5. But
It does. Even a couple of drops. I mean, I
oh,
like
that's
it.
beautiful, man.
I like to add a little bit of water after I've had some and see what it does.
Same here.
Yeah, but
Oh wow.
it can take the water really well too. It can.
Oh man, that's unreal
And it's
good.
super long lasting, right? I mean, the finish just keeps going and going, and it does have more of the bourbon notes. Like you got the vanilla. Really, it's a little bit of. It's still punchy, but
Yeah.
it's probably a little sweeter than a 25.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But not harsh, not like cloyingly like sticky sweet or anything like that.
No,
It's definitely,
not at all. No.
it definitely has a little more, I think, of the, I don't even know if I want to say fruit. It's got maybe a little more of the like sweetbreads kind of that kind of thing going on, which is still a nice balance to the.
But you can definitely get the bourbon cask.
Spot on.
Yeah.
And some dark, like even some chocolate on the back too. Wow.
And the nose just continues to open up. I mean,
I can't get over the palate on that. It's just unreal. I mean, the nose is good too. It's just it's so funny because it's complex on the nose and it's complex on the palate, but the notes that you get on the nose are completely different than the notes you get on the palate.
I'm getting some of the vanilla notes though on the nose now, especially on different angles on the glass. But
yeah, I'm almost afraid to.
I should have poured more of this. I didn't pour enough of this one. This is great.
It is. It's unreal how good these guys get it sometimes. I mean, you got to pay for the 20-year-old price, but you do get what you pay for.
The auction prices are,
I have a feeling this one's going to be really hard to find nowadays. Correct?
Yeah, you're not. It wasn't released in the U.S.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so this was only released in the U.K. Maybe outside the UK. I think just the UK. I don't know if it's EU or not, but it was only 231 bottles.
Wow.
And sometimes they come, they save a few, and they will sooner or later release a few in the States, but not this one.
Oh wow. Now, yeah, it's changing.
Yeah.
Almost got like a Girl Scout cookie nose on it.
Yeah.
That is so bizarre how, like,
I mean, I'm getting a sweet custard lemon note, like not a tart lemon, but a sweeter lemon note.
And the reason I like this still, even though it's hard to find them, I know some of these independents that we do from time to time, but I still like to do a kind of a pseudo review on it because it lets you know how solid some of these independent guys are. And SMWS is one of those that they rarely ever get it wrong with just a nice Laphroaig. As long as it's a peat, I wouldn't take a chance per se on an unpeated Laphroaig from anybody, but maybe. I don't know. Did they ever even done an unpeated whiskey?
You know what? I can answer that question. Yes, they have, not in 60, 70 years. But
wow.
I know I've seen it probably from 1930 or 40, somewhere around there. They did have a unpeated, but not. It's been a long time. They've been big. It was funny because they're being peated. They were able to one of the only scotches that during Prohibition they were considered medicine. So they had a license to sell it as medicine, Laphroaig. And Laphroaig's always been the biggest Isla distillery in the United States. They're huge in the United States. That's one of their biggest markets. It might be their biggest market, I would say. But they've kind of been known for their peat for a long time, right? I mean, they mostly have done all peat since God knows when. 1815 is when they opened. So,
DHS is saying he loves unpeated Isla. It would be interesting to see what they could do compared to like an unpeated Kalila or an unpeated Ardbeg. Even I've got some Blazda back there. That's it's really really low on the. I mean, we're talking like 2 or 3 ppm, if any, hardly at all. And They did a Kildalton back. This is the 2014 version, which was peated, thankfully.
Right.
In 1980, they had a unpeated version. I'd love to try, but the odds of me ever getting my hands on a 1980 Kildalton from Ardbeg are probably like that. But I can still dream, right? Has anybody? I'm not sure if any of you guys have had anything like that, but if you've had the 1980 Kildalton Ardbeg, let me know what you thought of it, some of the notes, and if it's not in the chat, if it's after the fact, send me an email. I'm just curious of what it would be like. I guess couldn't imagine.
It's just even the glass with this one. It just see. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I think I said this before we started, but I when it comes to the independent bottles of Laphroaig, I search them out because usually they're good, and a lot of times they're excellent.
Show them that Suntory one that you were showing me earlier, if you don't mind.
There's a couple, yeah.
Hey, everyone, good to see you.
Okay, so these are some of the. So, and I've had this one. This is a 21 year. I had a sample of this. Excuse me. This is a 20-year-old. This is from the UK. So this is the Signatory 30th anniversary, 20-year-old Laphroaig.
Oh my goodness!
Refill sherry. So once again, you don't get a lot of pure refill sherry Laphroaigs.
Unless you go in toward that kind of caliber, it's hard to get that. Look at that color, guys. That's just unreal, and that's no coloring, no chill filtering, none of that crap. I don't believe.
No, none of that. No, it's just there's no color, no anything. And this is, 58.3% ABV. Just to, I'm just see if it says anything special about it, but 573 bottles of it.
Wow.
This was really this is a special bottle because I don't know if you. There's a few reviewers that I trust, and you're one of them. Honestly, I
appreciate it, man. That's very nice.
And I don't watch a lot of. I used to watch a lot of whiskey YouTubers, and I still great guys. Love everybody. Swami's a great one because he tells the fucking truth, right? He just lays it out, which I appreciate. But a lot of it is just too much fluff. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm a big nerd with the whiskey, and I just want to talk about whiskey. I don't really want to make jokes or talk. I mean, chat's fine. I enjoy that, but I just want to talk whiskey, man. And this is you were one of them. But Serge on whiskyfun.com, which I do watch. I keep up with him a lot because he does great reviews. And once he started reviewing these Signatory 30th anniversary bottlings, all of them are getting fantastic reviews. And I did have this one, and it is fantastic. It's just great.
This and that sometime. That's one thing I never did try. I mean, I did have a 25 cast strength exclusive malts for Highland Park that I threw some change at, and it was worth it. But that's the only one that I ever pulled on the big high end, like what I consider high end independent market. But it was a good experience.
You kind of have to know. I kind of want to know. Well, Signatory is one that I usually, especially on this 30th anniversary, I kind of trust that. I trust that. I think they do a great job. I think a few others that I trust, Single Cask Nation. I've got a few bottlings of that they do a great job too. I have Gordon MacPhail. Some of their higher end, bottlings are fantastic. Trying to see what else that I. Cadenheads is the other one.
Oh yeah.
So there's certain ones that I will, certain ones I stay away from. I don't care if they're Laphroaig or not. I honestly will stay away just because I don't trust them because you are spending some coin, right? So
which ones? And I don't mind you saying. I mean, if you don't mind saying that, which are the ones that you're kind of like? I'll tell you the ones that I'm kind of hesitant about are like Battle Hill. I haven't had a lot of good.
Battle Hill. Anything that Total Wine. I think that's a Total Wine. If I'm not mistaken, it's kind of one of their in-house brands. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think that's the case because it's only available there.
Oh wow, okay.
And I stay away from that one. I stay away. The classic cask. I don't know if you've seen that around.
I have mistakenly went for a Mortlock 11 from them, and that's just.
Yeah, I kind of stay away from them. One that is good, and I'm not going to say it's not good. I think maybe because of the area I'm in. But the what's the I just went blank. The one with the sediment in the bottom.
The what in the bottom?
And it's sediment. They even put they keep a little sediment in. They try to make sure it's added. It's the unfiltered one. You know what I'm talking about? They do this. What's it called?
It sounds familiar. If you know in the chat, say it.
You guys in the chat will know.
I'm trying to think of which one you're doing. Hey, Samuel Cass, good to see you. It's been a while. And everyone, good to see you too. Hopefully I can maybe get lunch with you Thursday if you're going to be in the office. I'll have to try to remember to give you a call. Any thoughts on Distiller's Art?
I'm not familiar with them.
I don't think I'm trying to remember if I've not tried it personally. I've heard good things about Blackadder.
Thank you. Yeah, Everwin, thank you. I appreciate that. That's Blackadder, which, you know, they do some great things. I think I've had some because here in our market, Blackadder is a little expensive.
Yeah.
Compared to other things I can get, and it's I've had good ones, but I've had ones that just I've not been really wowed by.
Okay.
So that's not saying it's bad. There's a lot worse than Blackadder, but that's one that I just don't buy personally.
Do you usually like exclusive malts? Have you been pretty good with those guys? I haven't had a bad one by them yet, I don't think.
No, I've had some good ones. We just had I had a 20-something-year-old blend here Saturday night at a tasting at my house here. They had a few guys over, and it was good. It was quality, and it was pretty inexpensive because it was on sale here locally because they're kind of getting rid of a lot of those. It was like $119, $115. It was a 25-year or 20 blend. It was good. It was very good.
This is asking about 80 Rattray.
You know, I'm not a big, what I've had, and I wouldn't say that I know a ton about them, but what I've had, I've not been super impressed by.
And I haven't really took the gamble on those. The ones I've had the most fill with are the Gordon MacPhails are typically okay. The Alexander Murray's, I've had a good one. I've had a not so good one.
Yeah, that's another one that it's a little dicey for me. I would have to see a great review on it before I would buy one.
That's the ones that I usually run into. It seems like, but the Signatory, like you said, seems that most people are pretty happy with those guys. I'm not a big fan of berries. I have tried a few berries and just didn't do it for me.
Okay, like this one here. This is a single cask nation. This is a 20-year-old Ben Nevis.
Nice, wow.
It is a refill sherry cask, and this is incredible for the price. Incredible. This was when it came out like 169, I think.
Nice.
This one I got in Massachusetts at one of the famous stores up there outside of Boston. But I was able to find a few more in Chicago, and you got those ones closeout. And this is like for $130, and this is an incredible bottling.
That's one of those distilleries that I would definitely recommend taking a gamble for independence is Ben Nevis because
that's because about all you're going to get. It's nowadays you'll get the 10-year. You can get the 10-year cask strength. You get the 10-year regular strength. The regular one. The cask strength's incredible. The 10-year cask strength.
I've only had the regular. I haven't had the cask strength yet, but they have a 15 you can sometimes find. I've seen.
I've got the 15. Yeah, the 15 is great too. This is the 10-year cask strength.
Nice. I gotta try that sometime.
62.4%.
Wow, man, that's insane.
It is fantastic. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite 10-year-old.
Looks like Swami just reviewed an independent 19-year-old Ben Nevis called in Montgomery. Huh. I'll have to check that out, Swami.
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of them, but that is one of those distilleries that I haven't had any bad versions of anything that they've released.
I haven't really. I've had a few independent bottles that I would say that I was not a huge fan, but when they're good, and I think they're underrated. I think that's an up and coming. Like it's everybody's kind of like on the auction sites and everything. People are kind of grabbing those. Even like the older ones. The 25-year-old Ben Nevis, the kind of the official bottlings. People are just grabbing those up, spending a ton of money on them. And they're fantastic. They are. I'm not gonna lie. They'll beat a lot of things that you wouldn't think so. They're really, really good.
Speaking of really, really good, man, this this SMWS bottle is going to get drank right now. It's that good. I mean,
Yeah,
the 25 is no joke. I am going to enjoy
yeah. Well,
that
that's
too.
why I
But
said it to you. I knew it was fantastic.
holy
I
moly,
fell in love with it at that bar, and I was like, oh. And I
I could
was
see
became an
why.
SMWS member there just to buy it because I was like, and I thought, well, that's probably not the smartest thing, but it was that good.
I think if you're going to be getting a bottle at least once a month or every other month, and you get you into the cast strength thing, I think it's the membership's worth it. I really do. So I don't think you'll be
Yeah,
disappointed.
shipping's crazy. I mean, I can buy things from overseas cheaper than I can getting a bottle from them.
That's the tough thing is the
yeah.
shipping. Yeah, if they could figure out a way to make that part a little easier to digest, it would be a lot easier to buy stuff from them. That's for sure.
Yeah, it would be. But they do a great. Yeah, they do a fantastic job.
The trooper was saying he needs to try some brand Nevis. Yeah, that's not the easiest thing to find. When I got a bottle, I ordered it from California of all places.
Okay, this one right here. Here's another one. It's a independent. This is a 21-year-old. Let me see if I can.
Oh, nice. Single.
It's called single and single, and you can see how dark this one is.
Wow, that's great. That's a coffee.
It is. It's a first fill cherry.
It's like first fill Robitussin cherry syrup.
But it's what surprisingly, especially when it opens up, it's surprisingly not too I mean it is. Yeah, it's a sherry bomb, no doubt about it. But this one is from an independent bottler in South Africa.
Wow.
So this was released in the UK market, but this is he's Israeli that lives in South Africa, and there's a few. He's only probably put about 5 or 6 casks out, and this is one of them. It's fantastic.
Wow. All right, let me get the rails back going to Laphroaig for variety. Yeah, overall variety, not thinking about age statements, but like as far as their carriages they got a great travel retail market with the PX, the QA, the Aquamore, and things like that. And they also have a pretty solid core lineup with 6, not just 3 or 4, but they have 6 readily available bottles. I'm going to have to give them a pretty damn good variety number. I'm gonna go with a 9 on that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I can't really ding them because they even have something for the new guy. They have like 3 or 4 for their regular, typical buyers, and they have some higher end stuff. But we'll talk about age statements here in a second. I think they'll fix that soon, but we'll see.
I think everyone's asking about spending big money on the IBs. How do you know if they're any good? That is relying on quality reviewers and quality, and also, on YouTube, I do a lot of. I'm pretty active on Facebook with groups, and getting recommendations for people I trust. That's
yeah. Like if you find someone that's got a palate that also not just the trust factor, but that someone that's got kind of the similar palate to what you like, if they enjoy it. I mean, I guess it depends on the type of a reviewer they are. If they're subjective enough to be able to say, well, it's not my favorite, but this is the profile. These are all the notes I get. If this is something you like, then you're going to enjoy it. That type of thing too, I guess, is the way to get around that.
Yeah, no, it's true.
9 on variety for Trooper too. Yeah, it's hard to knock them for anything that is because they have so many options over there. I'm just kind of looking down the row. The thing about age statements that kills me is they have a 10, but they don't have the 15 or the 18 anymore. To get like an age statement, you have to go to a specialized 25. I think is the lowest they offer right now.
They have is it this, what is it, 16 they have coming out?
I heard that they're releasing one.
They're releasing one. It's going to be at 48% ABV. I'm really looking forward to that. And I think it's either a 17 or 16-year-old. So we'll see about that one. I think that's they're probably wanting to compete with Ardbeg's 19 that's come out. They want something at least close to that, to fit that. And I think there's a big gap right there. So I'm pretty, I think that's, and it's going to be a lot cheaper, I'm sure, than Ardbeg. So
Oh, you'd hope so. The Ardbeg's
Yeah,
prices are really rough. I had to
yeah,
nick them on value a little bit just because of the,
yeah.
for a 21, 22-year-old whiskey, $600. Like, my goodness gracious, those are like Dalmore prices.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe not as bad as Dalmore prices, but you know what I'm getting at.
Swami wants to come in if he can. Looks like he's bored, wants to have a drink.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, Swami. Let me get through a little more of these scores
Yeah.
real fast, and then we'll see if we can get you in there. Yeah, age statements. I am gonna, I guess, bump them a little bit up if they are releasing. I have heard of that 14 or 16. Is it 16?
I think it's going to be 16.
16.
I
Yeah,
think it is. If I remember correctly on one of the forums, but yeah.
I am still gonna knock them a little bit because they need to have like a 12 or a 14, kind of in the middle, 15, something in the middle there. That will help them bridge the gap between the 25, but 25 to 16 even they still need like a 20 or 21, I think, to really have a well balanced offerings on age statements. So that I'm gonna have to ding them for.
10 is killing them. Like, they sell so much 10 that it's hard for them to to keep up and to have enough barrels, cask to kind of meet those older, because the 10 is just, it's such a very popular, one of the most, I think it's the most popular peated whiskey, right? The regular 10 is the most in the United States. It sells more than anything else.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Peated Scotch standpoint.
I'm thinking about giving them a 7. I think that might be a fair on the age statement. What do you guys think in the chat? Trooper says a 5. I mean, it is pretty bad that they don't have those 2 or 3
but you
options.
know what? They do have,
like a Glentronic.
A little bit of credit for having a 25, normally a 30, a 32. Sometimes, they came out with a 32. So they have also a lot of older stock, which you don't always get that with a lot of it. And you have it with some. You have it with, Bunahaven has done a pretty good job with some of the older stock. Ardbeg, no, because, for one thing, it's they were mothballed for a while. But, I guess, yeah, you know what? But they have such a big hole in the middle that I think it is maybe 6.
Yeah. 6.5. I'm thinking
6.5
is going to be the fairest number to really give them on that. DHS was asking, does Laphroaig really outsell Ardbeg? I think the answer is yes.
It does. In the United States, it does. Yes.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, because if I go to a bar, and we're going to get to that in a second, is availability. If I go to a bar, typically Talisker, Lagavulin, Laphroaig, Oban, and like your Glenfiddich, Glendronachs, those are typically the ones that are always available, and it's because of Diageo and Beam Suntory. Those guys know how to get themselves in bars, and LMVH they just don't have it yet for some reason. Yeah, even Glenmorangie you never see at a bar, really, do you?
Yeah, in the United States, the Laphroaig has just been a staple for so long. Like, they have been, they've been around and as kind of the peated whiskey of choice for a long time. Ardbeg, if you think about it, in the 80s, 70s, Ardbeg wasn't that big, and they're still not a big distillery, not as big as Laphroaig. None of those are huge on the island, but I don't think they are. They're just. I'm a big Ardbeg fan. You see, right here, but I think that from just the market, I think for some reason the market is maybe because Ardbeg is, I like the Ardbeg 10 better than Laphroaig 10 personally, but they're more popular in the States still.
DHS is saying he's never seen a peated whiskey at a bar and not seen an Ardbeg. Huh.
Oh, really?
Are you saying that if you've ever seen a peated whiskey, you've never not? I'm trying to understand what he's.
I think he's saying that he's if he's at a bar and he sees a peated whiskey, there's going to be an Ardbeg there.
And that's the weird thing. Have you ever seen one? I've never ever, not even.
I have seen Ardbeg, but I see Laphroaig a lot more, at least in my neck of the woods here. DHS, where are you? I forgot. Where are you? Is he in Louisville?
No, I think he's. Oh yeah, I think he is. Might be in
Yeah,
Kentucky actually.
yeah, I think he might be in Kentucky,
I'm
right?
surprised that Ardbeg would be in Kentucky, but maybe that's this their market is. Do you see Glenmorangie there too? Because LMVH owns both Ardbeg and Glenmorangie. I'd be surprised if you see one and not the other, but I've never seen
Wow,
Glenmorangie.
200 Logness. I can't even imagine an Ardbeg
Holy
being
moly,
$100. And
that's
I'm surprised.
insane. That
That's
is crazy.
we need
Because
to ship him some under the table.
salsa time, man.
That's crazy. Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah,
200
because
for a
50.
quarry.
I'm thinking 55, 60 for the 10 here, and 80 to 90 for the Ugadal. I'm sorry, Ugadal and the Korivrekken would be like 1 to 110 at the highest here.
Yeah, it's about 89, 85 to 90 for a quarry here.
Hey, Daniel. Daniel's all the way up in Moose Jaw, probably. Good to see you.
That's right, Northern Kentucky. That's where DH. I knew he was. Yeah.
Looks like Daniel from Alberta. I think he's up in Moose Jaw. Just joined us, Whiskey Throttle. Good to see you, man.
Hey,
It's been a long time. He's got a very impressive collection as well. You guys should like him. He's more of a Brook Lottie guy, and but he does have some really nice like just all sorts of stuff like compass boxes you wouldn't believe, and it's just crazy. So you guys should like compare collections sometime if you got a chance. He sees Glenmorangie too, but keep in mind Scotch options are normally 0 in this area. I'm just surprised that Ardbeg or Glenmorangie would ever be at the bar, because literally from New York, and I've been from like New York, New Jersey, down the East Coast, I've yet to see Ardbeg or Glenmorangie in the bar.
I've seen Laphroaig. I've seen it. I've seen it here. I've even had the 18 before at a it was a steak bar, steakhouse bar.
Okay.
18, which I'm not a really big fan of, but they had it. And then I see a few other ones, but not a ton of Laphroaig. Yeah, I've seen the Ardbegs. I have seen Ardbeg 10. Especially some cocktail bars I've been to.
If there's no objection, I'm thinking of giving them an 8 for availability, since they are available in pretty much every store that you run into, at least the 10, if not the quarter and even the triple wood. I mean, you'll usually see their core.
To me, they're a 9, but just because of the everything from the airport exclusives,
That's true.
They have a ton of those. If it's going to be peated whiskey, at least here and where I've been, I mean, you're going to see a Laphroaig 10 on the shelf, and an Ardbeg too. But I always see Laphroaig.
Up above to an 8.5, then I think it's fair. Anybody else have an objection for an 8.5 for availability for Laphroaig? I mean, thankfully they're pretty available when it comes to both the bar and the stores. Especially when you look at all the other distilleries, even the ones that have been around a long time. So I'm thinking that's probably fair. Value, what you spend is the worth, the money. Trooper saying 9 on availability. Wow. I might bump them up a little bit more in a second. But value, yeah, I mean they're pretty good on pricing. That I've noticed they've been inching up lately. The 10 cast strength, I've seen it as low as like 75, and I've seen it as high as like 95 here. It's kind of
I've seen it going up too. I think I'm trying to remember. Well, honestly, this one I got overseas. It's been a while. I've got a few other ones, but they were it was a lot cheaper than when I got the other one. So it's probably 60 to 75, probably for the 10 cast strength. This one was a little bit more. Just because of the shipping from overseas.
And unlike some of these distilleries that do bump up prices and it's not worth it, I think for Laphroaig that they can justify, I think, a $10 increase from what they were, because they really bring it. They bring the flavor, they bring the craft, they bring the whole package. And if you are in the mood for that medicinal peat, it's hard to go wrong with anything that they release. I mean,
right.
It's a tough one. DHS is saying if Glenlivet is a 10, McKellen's a 9.5, I'd say a 7. Non-availability, yeah, I think 8.5 I'm going to keep. I think it was a good average score for that. What about value, guys? Good to see you, Don Holland. I think you're a new one to the channel. James Brower, I think I've seen before. Good to see you as well. You can't beat the value of
James
Laphroaig.
is also right about the value of the 10, especially in the States where it's 43% instead of 40 like it is overseas. It's a great value for what you can get. I mean, I've seen it on sale. You can get it at Costco, or not, Costco, or you're really cheap. I mean, I think I've got just an insanely little, small price on it compared to what it, compared to other 10s. So I think it's a pretty good value. I mean, some of them, no. I mean, the lore, is probably, if you're in the States, the lore is not a great deal because it's like 120, 125.
And that's
overseas, it's like 75 pounds, right? So it's a lot cheaper.
And that's the weird thing about that you mentioned that is that even just in Maryland, this one state alone, if you're talking about the lore specifically, and I'm just gonna double check before I say this because I couldn't believe it either. But yeah, I mean, 120. I mean, I've seen it as high as 135 in some places here, but usually 120 is what they price it at. And
it's not worth that.
I think the catch on that one is it's tough because unfortunately they don't tell you what's really in there, because I do think there is some really good old stuff in there.
There is older things in there. Yeah, it's some older stock in there.
But there's also some really young stuff in there too, which I think does bring the value down. I have to agree with you. It's probably just not worth it then.
I mean, it's a good. I like it. I mean, it is, especially if you want some sherry characteristics in a Laphroaig. I like it, but it's just, but for an NAS at 135, no. I mean, it's a little too much. There's other ones I'd rather have, other bottles.
Looks like
so yeah, $84. See, I've seen it. Now that's the cheapest I've seen in the States. That's Trooper? Yeah, Trooper Henry. That's a great 84. It's definitely worth 84.
Wow. I wish it was that cheap here, man. That's insane how cheap it is in New Orleans. My goodness, I grew up in the wrong city. I love New Orleans. I've been there a few times, man, and every time I've been, I've always adored it.
Yeah, I don't remember the times I've gone. I went down there not long ago, and it's a fog. I'm in a fog.
It's a good fog, at least, though.
Yeah,
it's a friendly fog.
It is very friendly.
What about value for you? Someone I think said a 7, and I was leaning towards a 9, but maybe I should bring it down to an 8. What do you think as far as value across the board for like your high end, what you pay for like the 30s and the 40s, all the way down to what you pay for your 10s and selects and stuff for Laphroaig? Bang for the buck.
And this is me looking at and I'll apologize because I'm looking at auction prices too, because that's what I.
Well, you have to, because the secondary market, it's part of the game. Unfortunately,
it's tough for me to find some things, and I do look at auctions. So I'm going to go 7 for value. Some of the auction prices are getting kind of crazy, especially like, I mean, I'll just give you an example. This one, which is I've not opened it yet. This is the Fischl 2019 19-year-old.
Ooh, Lordy!
And this is I believe a first fill sherry, Oloroso sherry.
A visceral. What does it say? Visceral something.
Visceral elemental experience.
Nice. I like.
This has got very good reviews. But the problem is now a 19-year-old Laphroaig is going for about 460 pounds. Plus, you can add a hammer price, which is 10% above that, so that's 500 something pounds, plus the exchange rate, which is about add on about 22 to 23% to that, then shipping and insurance. So that's why I look at but yes, the core range is excellent. But when you're starting getting into kind of the auction prices, even Laphroaigs are kind of crazy.
A bit crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little too much. I mean, that's a great bottle, but of course, nothing. Is it really worth that? No.
Loch Ness is saying that the new implemented tariffs will change most of your Scotch prices. I hope he's wrong. Are we going to get tariffs on Scotch now coming in soon with Brexit and all that? You think?
We're supposed no. It's due to we don't get into politics. I'm pissed about it. Yes, we are going to get probably 25% tariffs, 20 to 25% tariffs.
That's got to
Now, will it happen automatically right away? No, because of stock that's over here. But in some areas that are in some states that are controlled about how much they can have, like cases wise, some of the state controlled, it will go up quicker if things aren't worked out. So, but
they got to work this out, man.
Yeah, that's we just it's terrible. So
when you start messing with people's liquor prices, that's when you start losing votes. So they better be careful.
Yeah.
Looks like Daniel's got some whiskey, alligator first discussion. Are you talking about the Ardbeg alligator? Oh man, that's one I haven't tasted before. I'd love to get my hands on that one at some point. You already have one of those? Oh, you bastard! Oh, and not just that. That's like a committee release too. Oh, you're even worse of a bastard than I thought.
Yeah, I'm a Ardbeg fanboy. I'm looking at that's a great one. This is my second bottle. This one's not open, but I went through one already.
Oh, you had more than one?
Yeah, man. Well, you gotta have. Well, it's usually three, right? You got what's the saying? You have one for yourself, one to share, one to put back.
You sound like Aquaman, Mr. Lee. He always does that. I wish I could afford that.
Yeah. Like I said, I drive a cheap car, so I can do this. So.
No, I hear you there. It's like, yeah, my wife and I were talking, and we were talking about some of the things we spend money on. And I was like, well, one thing we don't spend money on is cars, thank God, because that's like the worst thing to buy is it depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot. So why spend, Why buy a BMW or Lexus even if you could afford it? Because you're basically throwing money out the window as soon as you buy the car.
That's why I try to tell my wife, especially, honestly, I have sold some of my bourbon because I've been moving away from it, and the prices are just it's crazy what people want to buy bourbon for. It's helped for me to buy some Scotch, and I still keep a lot. I still have a lot of bourbon. There's a lot that I'm not going to sell, but I mean that's their choice, and I understand, but it's kind of insane. That market's insane.
My goodness, man! The more that we have this SMWS, the more I like it. It's a really well done balance of everything. The extra little bit of sweet factor really sold me too. I think on that one.
Yeah, it is, but it's not overly sweet. It's like,
no.
It's got enough kick to it. It's very well, And I like sweet too. I like it all. It's You want to move? You want to do the 10? What do you think?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, give me 1 second. Now that we're talking about the cast strength options and the getting toward the end of.
I just want another drink. Is all I want. That's why.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was.
I can pour something else too.
I was drinking on the. Let me show DHS's comment. They didn't like the fact that he said idiotic for some reason, but I don't mind. He's not a big bourbon fan, it looks like. Oh, no, he's talking about the pricing, I think, of the bourbon. Yeah, it is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I'm idiotic.
And being in, just the background in Tennessee here in Nashville, which, well, DHS, he's in Kentucky, so he understands. It's just a bourbon crazy area. This area, Louisville, and probably northern Kentucky, there where he is, it's kind of the hotbed for bourbon right now, and it's insane what, especially like the Willet, these Willet.
Yeah.
We have a lot of store picks, a lot of great quality stores here. I have great relationships with a lot of stores here, and they're getting the Willet. They're single, barrel Willet picks and stuff, and selling them for. This is like a 6-year bourbon, for $199.
Wow,
that's for selling them at retail, and they're sold out in about 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness! He's in Nashville, DHS.
Yeah.
Sorry, he was just asking where you were. When you're the craft. Are you familiar with? And I've heard mixed stories, and I think that probably the best one to ask is a German when it comes to coloring. But does Laphroaig color anything as far as their line that you know of? I think that they do some of it. I'm not sure.
I don't. I mean, I'll just. I don't think any of it is colored.
and I apologize
A
for not
Beam
looking this up
Suntory.
earlier, but I think that they might only do for their like younger stuff, but don't quote me on it.
I mean, it's possible, definitely. I don't know though.
I will send you an invite later on, Swami, after we get through a couple things. Yeah, it looks like the quarter cast now contains caramel dye, possibly
Really?
in 2015. I think they might have started adding
Hmm.
E150 possibly to some things, but thankfully I know that they don't do it to everything, especially their higher end stuff. But
Right.
it's it's kind of one of those things you have to be like, let, let me know if you guys know for a fact or not if Laphroaig does coloring in some of their things. I believe that some of the younger things is a yes, but let me see if this is
You
an
can
actual
you can
fact.
the DHS is tell about a Victor's 20. I had a sample of Victor's 20 here in the spring, and super disappointed. And it was this year's version though, so I don't know about earlier versions which are supposedly better. But I was super disappointed in it. So he was mentioning the Victor's 20. Um,
Hmm. They might have just done it more recently for some reason, but I don't understand why they would not do it and then start doing it because you think it would be the opposite. That they if they did, since a lot of people are kind of like, they wouldn't start doing it all of a sudden.
yeah. I'm looking at this like the 10 cast ring just to see what it says, and I mean it's not saying that it's.
Probably not one way or another.
I mean, I can tell you, I'd be very surprised if this is color. There's not much color to this, so
That's
um,
true. They don't really come off as being like ultra dark, and they
yeah,
use the
they
green
really don't.
bottles, I think, because of that. It's like, why would you use a green bottle if?
Yeah,
I mean, I know they're doing it for the. They don't want the sunlight to. I've heard it affects if you have like bottles out in the sun, that type of thing. But
well, that's the 10 cast strength. I, I'd be very surprised if there's color in that.
yeah, they don't say anything either way. So I guess we're not going to nick them on that. I don't think they do chill filtering either. I know on a lot of my bottles they don't really. Let me go around this way. I'm just looking to see if it talks about the
You
chill
know,
filtering.
this is another thing that I wish they would just put it on the bottle, right?
Yeah, they don't really specify one way or another
Yeah.
in a lot of these, but some of them wouldn't make sense to do it, but unless it was like the select or something, maybe. But I'm just looking to see if I see anything that stands out for. But yeah, I wish that like in Germany they have to tell you if it's colored or not, just on the bottle. But if you guys know in the chat, let me know if they do chill filtering, which this one's 48 on the quarter string cast. But you would think if they did, that they would actually label it because all these um, distilleries are really big about letting you know that they don't use the coloring or chill filtering if that's the actual case. But let me see. I don't see anything that stands out. I'm gonna check.
I'm gonna look on the 25 just to see what it says on one of the older ones.
I'm gonna check one more place before I say here and as well. Looks like let's see. Freud. I should have looked this up earlier. Sorry about that. It has been a very busy week, work wise. Let's see. Yeah, it's bizarre because they don't talk about it, and when you
It
don't
says
talk,
non-chill filtered on the 25.
oh, cool. Okay, at least
Just
they,
on 25 though, so that's
yeah. Um, yeah, I'm just looking to see if I see anything in like the lore and some of these other ones. Hmm. If I had a little bit to play with, I could probably tell just by pouring a little bit if it was chill filtered or what. If it's under 45.6 or 7 is chill filtered, Yeah, but I mean that's not automatic for everything. I was just wondering if they would bother with some of them on the younger, like you said, underneath the 45, because they do have a couple 43s in the selects of 40, but I'm not sure if they bother with the chill filtered or not. But it looks like they probably do, because since they don't specify it on bottles that are younger than a 25, that the answer is probably a yes. So I'll probably have to nick them a little bit on the craft. I just wanted to get an idea beforehand. But they do the floor malting like you were talking about earlier, though, which is a huge difference. So you kind of gotta give them some props for that.
Yeah, but it's only I just saw the stat was 20. They do 20% of the barley's floor malt at the Laphroaig.
Yeah.
So
Better than zero.
it is, and they do it because of to kind of keep that tradition and have that, and so which is good. They should.
I'm sure the 10 is chill filtered if it's 43, and certainly on a 40.
Yeah, if it's 43, I mean anything was it 46 usually or above is usually non-chill filtered, is what I've seen. But
yeah, well, I guess it's it's one of those.
So no, it doesn't have to be, but yeah.
Yeah. Craft wise, though, I think I'm gonna have to probably stick with maybe a 7 might be the most fair, because I'm not quite certain, but I do suspect that they do both.
Yeah.
But they don't do it like on everything, thankfully. I mean, some of these guys I think do it to everything, even for their higher ABV stuff or something, from what I've seen. But I'll have to look more into that and see if there's like it's unchill filtered at 48%. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I mean, there are distilleries that have 40s and 43s that don't do chill filtering, correct? I mean, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It just, I think, and I think, and somebody here I'm sure can correct me, but I think that it's more common because it's more likely to be cloudy due to the lower proof, and then if it gets to a certain proof, it's they don't do it, and I guess I don't know if it helps as much, not as much of an issue. But I'm sure somebody could probably look that up quickly to probably already know to tell us.
Trooper was thinking about the same type of score on the craft as well. And did you pour yourself that cast strength yet?
Yeah, I've got it ready.
I was going to talk a little bit about that, because I did recently share, and if you guys go to DHS was saying who doesn't chill a 40. I could have sworn I've seen some that don't bother with that, even at a low ABV. I'll have to let me do some digging DHS and see if I can find it. But I could have sworn I've seen some that don't even chill filter at low levels. But
maybe I mean I've seen lower proof. Some of these much older bottlings that come out at a lower proof, 41% or 42, and I would probably hopefully they're not chill filter. That's much older bottlings, so. But with a true 40%, maybe that makes sense. They would be chill filtered.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Let me save this sheet, and let me go bring up the other one I was going to talk about. If you go to the channel and go to discussions, I shared out a new spreadsheet with you guys that hopefully we can get something started. I made it editable for people that have access to the link with the discussion area. So you should be able to put your numbers in here. And I just started this off with just the few things just to show the layout of what I had in mind. I put like a Laphroaig 10 cast strength. I put a Glendronach 12, a Clynelish 14, and a Kalila 12 just to get things rolling. You don't have to use these. You can add whatever you feel like to the list. Please try to make it something readily available, something that you can find that's not something that's overly specialized, because the idea is to share recipes of blends that you like. I started out I'm going to try an 80% Glendronach 12 with 20% Laphroaig 10 cast strength, just to see, what kind of experience I get. I put the values of percentage there in the list of my first experiment. And you can label the column however you want. You can put your first or your second or, whatever you want to label it as. Just put your name there so I know whose is which. And if you don't see the whiskey there, add it. Give a percentage in the list, and then at the bottom of your column, put a success rate in which 1% being the absolute worst thing you've ever tried, 100% being the absolute best thing you've ever had. Give it like a success rating of 1 to 100 of what you give that blend as a score, and that way we can kind of track this over time and see what comes up. I just thought of it as an experiment, maybe with some of you guys, since I usually track some of the guys that are not too hesitant of trying new things or experimentation and things. So I thought this might be kind of cool. And if your name's not here, just add it where it says etc. to be announced. I already got Loch Ness, DHS, Jason C, Stephen Connor, Dram Dude, Louise Oka, and Rabbit, and everyone in here. So feel free to add, your name if it's not here, and put your percentages and your whiskeys in here. And if it gets a little crazy, I'll try to fix things to make it make sense. But hopefully, this is a little self-explanatory of the way to do this. If you have more than one, just add another column to it and say Stephen Connor's second experiment or whatever, however you want to label it. It's your choice, as long as you can keep track of what's what. That's all that matters. So let me get I'm so glad you sent that, Stephen, because I went and got my own Glendronach 12, and I got the new Cairgis triple wood cast strength from this year, but I did not get my own cast strength 10. So with that said, I thought, well, I can do a little.
Well, you're doing that, I'm going to pour this. This is a special bottling. This is right. Here we go. This is my wife's. We did the tasting at Laphroaig. After the long tour, you get to try 3 different casks, and then whichever one you like the most, you get to take home with you.
Wow!
So you get to pull it and everything, and then fill your bottle and everything. So it was a great experience. But this is a 10-year first fill bourbon. So
nice.
Comes in this nice little box with a glass and everything that you use for the day and everything. So. Kind of a nice little gift.
It is nice.
I'm going to pour a little bit of this. This is very. You can tell why they put it there, and they didn't. It's very unbalanced when it comes to the bourbon the bourbon barrel. It's super huge vanilla notes, which is interesting, but something they probably couldn't, use for normal.
I haven't had my own Glendronach 12 in a while. It's been it's probably been about a year since I first got it and went through the bottle, but man, I did like it. And it was a Brown Forman bottle. I never had the old one that I can think of. So we're going to go 80% of the sherry and 20% of the Laphroaig cast strength, and I don't see how you could really go wrong with this.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice.
And yeah, I have had the batch 11. Is that the one I had before? This goes back a ways. Was number 8? It looks like from April of. Let me see something. It was a batch 8 from April 2016. Do these vary a whole lot, or are they?
Yeah, I compared batch. Let's see. I compared. Let's see which one I had here.
I'm going to have a separate pour of this then before I even blend it, just to see what is going on with this.
So I had batch 7. I compared 7 to 11. I did like 7 better than 11, but they do. Yeah, they vary. No doubt about it.
I have had sometimes when you get batch variations too, like the Abanaz notorious for being different, and sometimes even some of the later ones are not as good as the early ones. I've noticed the flip flop. Sometimes it happens, but I think the 53 or 58, I can't remember which exact number. I can look it up, but I think it was a 53 or 58, and it was really, really good. Then I came back and got the 63 or 68, and it
Yeah,
was a
60.
bit
I
different.
don't. I haven't really liked any of the newer ones, honestly. Those have just been, and you can tell by looking at them. They're just. I don't know what they're maybe using. You know, they seem to have more sherry influence on the older ones.
Yeah, and I noticed the biggest difference for me was the excuse me, the original one, the 53 or 50 whatever series had a lot of cloves in the finish, really nice thick
Yeah.
clove, and then I didn't get that with the 60s numbers, and I was like, oh, I missed that so much, and it was a huge difference where I would have gave the 50 something batch a 4 to 4.5 star.
56. Since I've got a 56 here, I had a 32, but I drank that one. So
Oh man, I bet that was glorious.
56. It was. That was a good one. It was the first. I think it was 32, or it was the first year of the bottling like this.
Like I would have gave that 50 something like a 4.5 to 4 star, and the second one, the 60 something, I only give it like a 3 to 3.5 star. That's the biggest, that's a huge difference in the batch there. So that's a nice nose, nice candy actually, even on. Huh. Ooh, that's nice.
That's pretty damn
Wow,
good.
it is.
It is, yeah.
It's hard to knock a cast strength through Laphroaig 10,
Oh,
man.
are you drinking the cast strength right now?
I sipped it just
Okay.
just to get the batch.
Yeah.
Since last time I had it was number 8. I thought, well, this is being 11. I thought, well, let's see if I can get a difference. It tastes memorable, like I remember it, but I'm sure there's some sort of little more toffee versus the other one, or a little more sweetness or fruit or something. But it's still solid quality.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. This one will be in the States next year, this coming year.
All right, let me go ahead and mix a little bit of this. So we're going to go 80-20.
Let me ask the Canadian guys, Swami, Loch Ness. Do you guys have batch 11 yet up there?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm wondering if.
I know. Yeah, the States we don't. We're usually 1 year behind on getting these.
Okay, I think I've got it a pretty good ratio here. There we go. It's a big pour, but you know how Telex is. My video is all sorts of lagging behind. Is yours?
The computer it is. That's why I'm glad we're going with the phone, because it is it's lagging seriously on the computer.
Okay. Well, no one's complaining, so I think everything's still running at least okay. Malta's never been, Swami's never been a fan of Abelauer. They're kind of tough. I do like the Abanon, some of those batches. I do like the 18. The other stuff has been kind of, it's Callan Classic Cut's really damn good. So when it comes to the prices, it's Abelauers have definitely been creeping up a lot lately too. So even Macallan is looking pricey, price wise, a little more advantageous. So sometimes I even go with them before I would go with Abelauer, which is kind of weird, Okay, well, I got my sherry and I've got my peat. Now I'm gonna let this settle, give it a good swirl, and we will let that sit a little bit. Also, might give it 1 drop of water just to get. Sometimes it gets things flowing molecularly. Molecularly, is that a word? Get that flowing.
It is. Yeah.
Get that flowing and see. As a test, I want to make sure this works, Stephen. Do you have access to? Actually, I don't want to mess with your thing because you're using your phone. Never mind. I was going to see if someone could test the spreadsheet to make sure that you could have access to make edits to it. But don't worry about that now. I'll have one of these guys in the chat try it out if they can. Go in and add your name if it's not there, and just try to put a percentage and save it. And I just want to see if it actually works before before I closed the thing later on. So the 2018 classic cut was a disappointment. I'm trying to remember which year. I think I had the 2017, and that was one of those weird bottles where I opened it up, and it seemed like it was great for the first part of it, like the first half, and then as I got closer to the end of the bottle, the sherry got a little rough, a little. I'm not sure what was the deal there. Do you have does that happen to you sometimes, Stephen?
Which with the classic cut or just in general?
Yeah. Well, or
Yeah.
some of these regular sherry offer, like the Dark Origins from Highland Park was like that for me, where the first like half of it
Yeah.
seemed pretty good, and then and I drink it pretty quickly. I don't let bottles linger around too much, if I can help it.
Right.
But, I'm not talking about the classier ones, but the ones that the run of the mills that are 100 or less.
Right.
You go through those fairly regularly, and that one. Even though I was going through it quickly on a vacation, it seemed like by the second or third day, it was just kind of like rough on the sherry.
Yeah, I've not. I mean, it all depends. I mean, my palate, it depends what you eat and what you do. So my palate definitely changes. But I can't quite recall anything like that exactly happening. I've had some, the Highland Park, the Dark Origins you mentioned. I've had it before and it's good. And then I had it another time when it wasn't as good. So maybe that's what it was. And it had been sitting in a bar, probably open for a while. So that's where I noticed it wasn't as good as when I freshly opened it here at the house. So
yeah,
um,
Tamdu they're on too. I do think that Tamdu is pretty solid. Even when I get through the bottle first, beginning, middle, it's always pretty damn good and consistent.
Yeah, that's one I don't have. I need to get more experience with Tamdu. I don't have a lot.
I think you'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
And since you are don't mind throwing a couple of extra dollars at it sometimes, look at the Debilia Dram. If you like spicy bottles,
Okay.
it's extremely spicy. Think like Longmore 16 meets Highland Park Fire, that kind of thing.
Okay.
If you're into that, I think you'd really, really like it. There's Bob H. Good to see you, man. Glad you could join.
Good.
I was looking at they were wondering how to get to the spreadsheet. All you got to do, guys, is open up YouTube, of course, go to my channel. Now, on my channel, if you go up to the top, it'll have a word that says discussion on it. You click on discussion, and it'll have where I've got a link there that you just click on, and it'll take you to the spreadsheet. Go ahead and give it a try. And let me know if you get access to it. And whoever can get there, just add Tamdu 12 or Tamdu 15 or Tamdu batch 1 or whatever you want, just to see if it works. But you don't see it in the discussion. Let me do a double check here. I'm gonna go to YouTube and I'm going to go to. Well, funny thing is, it doesn't have me signed in. I'm gonna sign in. I'm gonna go to my channel.
Sorry, I'm gonna I'm hooking my charger up because my phone's about to die. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. If you go to
that's all right.
I'm clicking on discussion at the top, and it's got 1, 2, 3 things that I've said, and they're public. And it says added a shareable and editable spreadsheet for folks to chart their blending successes and failures. Feel free to share your experiences, and there's a link there. Do you not see that? Yes, Bob. Thanks so much for holding that, Drew. And I still have that Tamdu batch 1 for you. I'm just going to keep holding on to it until I see you or can plan a meetup with you and maybe even KB if he's available. Maybe have a little get together sometime, either up in your neck of the woods or down here in mine. Either way, it's just hard for me to get out sometimes to get to New York, but maybe sometime in the near future we'll figure something out. But yeah, try to if you go to the channel and click on discussion, there should be 3 comments there, and there should be a link available there. Let me know if you see it now. If it's not there, I'm surprised because it seems like it would be. I see 2 posts. Just added a spreadsheet. I say huge thanks to the. Okay. I wonder why these posts aren't showing up. That is really strange. And I sent this 2 hours ago. Let me see if let me do a refresh and see what the deal is. I'll have to look and see why it's not showing up for folks. I mean, they're definitely posted. I only saw 2, Goggins said. Okay. Well, maybe I have to maybe this it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, what I'll do is I'm just gonna take this link and I'm gonna go to the chat, restore chat, and I'm gonna put it in here. See if this works. How about that? Click on that and see if that'll get you to the I'll probably have a bunch of people doing some crazy stuff on the spreadsheet, but we'll keep it in line. Bob H is saying he's talking about having a meetup in New York again with the Scotch for Dummies in December. So yeah, that'd be cool. If we can make it happen, that would be awesome. Can't guarantee anything yet, but I'll definitely will talk it over with you guys and see if we can arrange something. But yeah, try to click on that one and see if this gets us any closer or farther away. I'm going to pop this out again so I can see. Sorry about all that.
No problem.
I may have I think it's been time to settle and see if hopefully this will work. Did you all, were you able to click on the link? I'm just curious if it worked. This is kind of a new thing. I've never seen anybody do this kind of thing before, other than like another sharing. So I figure, well, if it works for businesses and such, it should work for us just tinkering around with the spreadsheet and trying to keep track of people's stuff. It worked. Cool. Okay. Lockness says I said spreadsheet. He thought I was talking about a centerfold. Sorry, man.
Well, no, I would have clicked on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love a juicy centerfold, but I can't be doing that. I'll get in trouble.
Well, my wife's not. She's out of town, so
There you go.
it's called deleting the history. You got to do that, right?
And if you can, if you do see one up here, and you're like, and if you have access to, if you already have a Laphroaig 10 cast strength, you already have a Glentronic 12, feel free to go ahead and throw a number up there and make your own column and just say, you could, to try to maybe link it. We might have to color code things like, color the Telex's first experiment a color, and then create your column, make it the same color, and that way we can kind of tell of which ones are.
Swami is chomping at the bit to join.
Okay, Jesus. All right, let me have a sip of this real fast. Don't want the rails to come off too crazy right off the bat here. Let's see.
Wait. Oh, he added Spring Break 25 to it. That might make it good.
Oh, yeah, that's like if you're blending Spring Break 25, man, you've got some change. Let me see if I can figure out how to get this up here. All right, I gotta send this in a special way to him so we don't go crazy. Now, Steven's a good guest of mine, Swami. Don't go crazy and
Oh, he can go crazy. Fine.
I'm not sure how familiar you are with Swami's channel. He's a good guy.
I watch it. I like his channel.
He's a good guy, and I definitely recommend it.
We might do, this might be like what do we do? This might be like what's the show where they used to argue the CNN Crossfire?
Oh yeah. Oh lordy. Well, I'm fairly conservative / that way.
Well,
so.
I'm talking about whiskey, just in general.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
He has strong opinions, and I have strong. I like it. That's why I like. I like watch his channel because, for one thing, he's not getting bottles from anyone. He's being honest, and that's all you can ask for, really.
Exactly. It's hard to find that anymore. It seems like
It really is. Yeah.
when he pops, I sent you the link in the Facebook, Swami. So go ahead and click on that. That should bring you into the mix here, and I'll add you as soon as I see your little square pop up here in a second, hopefully. And I might have to get creative with the view. I think I can do it a certain way. There we go. And then go ahead and say something, Steven. I want to see if it pops over to you.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't think it does
Nope.
automatically for some reason. That's okay. We can play around with it and see how it goes. Hopefully he got the link and is able to click on it. But I sent him the same one that I sent you, so it should work theoretically. Oh, maybe? No. Let's see. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. I'll look up and see if I see it.
Yeah.
I can't believe he added Springbank 25.
Hey, Chad. Chad Adams looks like he joined. So I've got 18 now watching. That's a good group. All right. Am I? I'm not seeing. This might be the Stephen Connors show. I'm not seeing Telex anymore.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
I lost the feed.
I was about to run thing. I was gonna go back here and open a Port Ellen for everybody. So,
you can still do that.
Yeah. I'm not that drunk yet.
There you go. I was gonna say I think I would be nice enough to say, well, maybe you might want to rethink that, because once you pop that cork on a 39, 37, man, oh, you're gonna have to definitely be drinking it or sharing it.
I'll be drinking. I'll send you a sample.
Oh wow, man, it's
the share, right? That's yeah.
I love Port Ellen. That's one of my favorites. And Brora. I mean, they're both just
Port Ellen. I love it. Yeah, it's up there, man. It's not worth the price, but it's damn near close to it. It's good stuff.
Hey, good to see you, Chad. I didn't know he was in the midst there. I was what happened was I was in the tab of the browser, and I forgot to click over here first before I hit refresh. And of course, when I hit refresh, it completely went berserk and lost the feed. So sorry about that, guys. This is we're doing some I want to say high-end stuff, but we're messing around with things we don't usually mess with. So there's a lot of experimentation going on behind the scenes here. There's got to be a way to refresh inside of Excel without doing anything crazy. Function F5, right? You would think that would do it. Maybe if I go out of it and go back, I guess that's the best way to do it. I just want to go out and go back in and see how it's going with the thing. I don't see people's changes. Did you guys save it after you made a change? Please go ahead and save it if you've gone in and made a change. I want to make sure this is working the right way, and nothing's changed since I've got out of it and went back into it. Take care there, everyone. I hope to see you maybe Thursday, if I'm lucky. Maybe go to lunch at Subway or something. I'm not sure if Daniel's still around or not. I saw him a little earlier. He was there. Let me try this again and see if this works. If it doesn't, it's not that huge of a deal. I just wanted to see if I can get it. Oh, there it goes. It is working. Cool. So someone did 100% off of, I guess I'm not sure if he got his columns off or what, but he made the Glendronach 12 orange, the rest blue, and then he put 100% in Springbank 25 column for himself. I'm not sure, but you're supposed to actually put your percentage of that whiskey in your column, DHS, and go that route if you have it. If you don't, just wait until you get it. But let's have a little sniff and see. Thankfully, sherry's there, definitely. The peat being 20%, it's there, but not overly, not overly in your face or anything. But hopefully, I've got the blend right. That's good. Could use some age, but being 12 and 10, it's not a not a bad deal at all.
Yeah.
It was backstage. Sorry. All right, let me get him in here. There you go. Hey, Swami.
Hey, how you doing? Hey,
Swami, what's up, man?
not much.
It's my first three-way.
It's only my second, so
If you look down in your control panel of Telex, there's like a bunch of different options for the screens.
Yeah.
You see that there's one with like 3 screens more separated.
Well, there's this guy.
Yeah.
There's
There.
this guy.
That's good.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
That's
Okay,
good.
that'll work.
You actually see everybody.
Yeah, I'll bring it in.
Sorry about that. I was wondering what's the one that people like to use the most, in this
Yeah,
kind of
we-
stuff.
It's all right. Old people aren't very good with technology. I know.
Hey, I work in this kind of stuff.
It did take me a little while to get on, so yeah.
Good.
I wish there were more options for. I mean, they're really killing these YouTube people like myself that don't have a lot of subscribers yet. We're just trying to build something. They keep making it harder and harder to finding a streaming platform that doesn't cost $300-400 to do it. It's crazy.
I like your collection there, Steven. Really nice.
Oh, appreciate
I'm
it.
liking all your batches of Glendronachs in the back. I can see those.
Yeah, I'll do a little quick tour when everybody wants to see a few things.
I got to get that Cavalandino Barrica. Everyone keeps on telling me I got to get that.
I have,
It's very good.
That one. I have probably 14 different single casks.
Wow.
Yeah, these are all. When you see this over here, these go all the way back 5 each.
Jeez, man.
So I have a little. I have a good connection in Taiwan. A couple of people, so able to get a lot better pricing than anywhere in the States.
That's the catch. Is definitely the pricing on those. That was one of my favorites I had at an expo. Was the
I'll be right back.
No problem, man. I know how it goes.
Yeah, this one, you're talking about the Cavalon. I'll just show you this. Well, I might as well pull this out just to show you. This is just a beautiful piece. And I've not opened this, but this is, oh my God, this is insane. But look at this thing.
Oh, wow.
This is beautiful.
Now that's presentation for you.
Yeah, this is ungodly presentation on this one. I'm going to be really careful.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but please don't drop anything.
Yeah, I know. Well, if I do, then you'll see me down there licking it up on the floor. But this is Mezzanilla. And let me see what this is. This might be PX, Sherry, and Mezzanilla.
Is that a Gabalon?
Yeah.
Yeah, show him the box again, Steven, because Tom didn't see it.
It looks like that Macallan's 50-year-old box. The one that you push the button on the top, like.
I know, right?
Look at the glassware in this thing.
Let me guess. The bottle is tiny. Oh no, it's a regular size bottle. There's 2 bottles.
Yeah, they're 5. I think they're 500 milliliter. But beautiful. Just a great, decanter here. Let me pull one out. Oh shit.
Nice.
Oh, okay. One's an empty. Oh, okay. No, it's full.
Yeah, they're full. Yeah, both are full. Yeah.
How much did that run you?
This one wasn't terrible. I got it at a pretty good price, about $750.
Wow, that's
really not a bad
$750. That's an awesome price.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good deal for it.
For all that, definitely. I mean,
but you could this will be but this was only I believe only available over in Taiwan.
It's an awesome deal to have a contact like that. It's hard to find some, especially in Asia, overseas, unless you really, really know somebody.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, Whisky in the Six, has his guy. He works directly for Cavalon. Are you using the same guy, Steven?
Yeah, I have the same guy. One of them. I have a couple other too, but he's one of them. Larry.
Do you is that a Glengoyne 18 you got there, Swami?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. I was wondering, as I saw a flash of a Glengoyne when you joined it, but it went by so fast I didn't see it. Ooh, that's a nice bottle.
Yeah, that's nice. Those are good.
Yeah, it's a good bottle if you want a fully sherry matured whiskey, but you don't want the sulfur and you don't want like the heavy oakiness. It's
right.
More mellow. It's got some sherry depth to it, but it's definitely not a full yellow rose. So I think this is probably, I don't think it's PX either. I think it's a lot of pheno casking going on in here or something like that.
Is it really dry and salty, acidic kind of thing?
Yeah, it's mellow though, but it doesn't have like the oaky nuttiness of an Oloroso, and it doesn't have the sweetness of a PX. But it is 100% fully sherry matured, which makes it's weird because. But I think this would be really good for anybody.
Well, it might be. You think it's like older cat, like second or third?
Oh, it's like third, probably third.
Yeah.
It's third fill casting for sure. But it's definitely good for someone like, let's say, I like sulfur, so it doesn't bother me. But people who don't like sherry casting because of the sulfur, this definitely would be a sherry casting.
Yeah. See, I'm a big sherry fan too. But I had on Saturday a little tasting had a Highland Park. I think it was 14 or 15. It was a single cast for Arizona. Mm-hmm. Arizona got one, I guess, for some reason. Everybody's getting a Highland Park single cask and bottling, and Arizona got one, and it was, man, the sulfur was so strong in that one. It was just too much. I couldn't. Just did not like it. Well, and I don't mind a little bit. I mean, I have a lot of Glendronics that have a little bit of sulfur, but this one was overpowering in the sulfur.
Well, I wouldn't drink that Ben Nevis 10 if you don't like sulfur.
True.
Well,
I do love that.
No, man, see, I don't mind. I said it was way over sulfured. I mean, the Ben Nevis 10 is fantastic. But you know what? I don't know if I've had any Ben Nevis that I couldn't take the sulfur in it. The Highland Park was just rotten eggs.
I get that from Glendulin sometimes too. Have you had a Glendulin before?
I have not.
It's got a sulfuric kind of a thing going on sometimes.
That reminds me. There's a funk to me. I like the funk. It's and maybe it's a sulfur, but I like the.
Well, it's a sulfur meets the Springbank dunnage kind of thing. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to pour one of this Ben Nevis here that I love.
Nice. The only thing that I don't get into on the Glengoynes, I do love them. Don't get me wrong. The only thing I wish that they would change a little bit is make it a little thicker, viscosity wise.
Yeah.
It's a little thin, but flavor wise, it's always kick ass. I have to give
I hate the 15-year-old. I'm not a fan of the 10-year-old. I like the 18 and I like the 12 a lot. The 21 I tried. Rob sent me a sample of it. It was good, but the 25-year-old kind of the 21-year-old kind of reminded me of Ball Blair.
Yeah.
It was very Ball Blairish. I like the 18. I think the 18 and the 12 and the 18 are spectacular. I like them both. But
what did you think of the 25?
I haven't had it. I can't lie. I haven't had the 25 yet. I'm thinking about purchasing a bottle from Alberta soon of the 25-year-old. It's not expensive. It's $230, so it's a really good price for a 25.
For the 25, that's a great deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal for $225, not $125, $225.
Let's see what it is here.
5-year-old.
It's a good question. You said Springbank 25, right?
I was looking at the 25-year-old Glengoyne or the 25-year-old Tully Bardeen. I haven't decided yet, but they're both at 43%.
Guess what they went for the 21-year-old Springbank here?
1,000?
400.
400 American, so that's not bad. That would be like $650.
Oh, okay. That's what throws me off is the exchange rate sometimes.
No, but it would be like $650 Canadian.
Wow.
The problem is, that's why I search out for these.
The 21-year-old sells for 480 here.
Wow.
See, that's great. I'd rather have something like that I can get for. I think I paid $5.25 for this.
Star Kicker. Wow.
Yeah, but I'm hearing that 21-year-old rum finish Springbank is like one of the best bottles ever, or something like that. Like
really?
Julien, who he will no longer be on my channel, by the way, just letting everybody know. It's not a fight. We're still best friends. He's in the industry now, so I can't have him on the channel. You got a job in the industry. But his favorite bottle this year was a 21-year-old, and I think Rob Whisky the 6 too is like in love with that bottle. So.
That's a hell of a price there, Trooper. At $169 for Old Pulteney 21. Now, they're still selling 17 here, thankfully, but it's upwards of 120 to 130. So,
I had a good friend here. It's just he gave me a Old Pulteney 21 here for 150, which is a good friend. Because I haven't had much Old Pulteney. I've got a few up here, but I just got them. I've not tried them yet, so I need to open one up. All right. I'm pretty excited about this one to try. The Whiskey Shop. This is a Burkeville Sherry Old Pulteney, a single cask.
Maybe you can help me, Stephen. You said you're a bourbon guy, right?
Yeah, well,
I was at the store today and I saw the Old Forester, just the basic Old Forester, 50%, 100 proof. It was at $40. Is that worth it?
Man, I mean, for me personally, probably not. I just probably wouldn't be buying it.
There's the old Ezra 7.
I'd move up to the 120 or the 1920 or the 1910, but I don't know how much that costs you there.
They don't have it. That's the thing. They only have one. They have the Old Forester at 50, and they have the old Ezra 7 at the Ball and Bond. So I don't know which one to grab. They're both the same price. So
I've been kind of out of the loop on that stuff. Honestly, there's been so many changes. But I've had the Old Forester. That is it the 50% you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine. I've had some store picks down here. People have store picks of that too, and they're pretty good. But for $40, I'm trying to think what else you could get for 40. It's not a bad deal.
Well, 40 Canadian, so it would be like 29, 30 American.
Yeah, 29, 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal. I'd go for it. It's not, I definitely would try it. I think I like the 1920 and I like the 1910, but I haven't bought the old one because
that's the issue. I can get the rare breeds and all the cheap bottles from Alberta. I can't get them in Quebec, and it's not worth it to me because of the delivery charge on it.
Right.
So I got to pay like an extra $15 per bottle, and I've had the rare breed. It's a good bottle.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spend the $40 on the bottle plus an extra $20 on delivery because then all of a sudden it's a $60 bottle, and then it's not worth it to me. So.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got the 1910, the 1920 right there,
and
you can see that 1920. I put a dent in it. I haven't
it's a big dent.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Just quickly, I don't want to interrupt you guys, but if you guys have already tried an 80% Glendronach 12 with a 20% Laphroaig 10 cast strength, let me know in the chat when you get a chance. Sorry, guys, go ahead.
I can do something for you. I don't have the Laphroaig cast strength 10. What I do have, I have the Glendronach, but mine's not a Brown Foreman 12. Mine's an old Glendronach.
Oh, we got the classic.
Nice.
That's okay though. We'll just note it in the list as we'll put like a star next to it or something.
And what can I put that would be near Laphroaig cast strength peated? I got a Lagavulin an 8-year-old, which should be close to a Laphroaig 10 cast strength peated, and I've got a Ardbeg 10-year-old here.
Maybe try that if you don't mind to see what you think with the 80% of the Glendronach 12.
The Glendronach 12 I have though is at 43% ABV because it's not Brown Foreman.
Right.
Maybe that with like 20% Ardbeg 10.
Mine still says Glendronach Distilleries Company Limited, forged by Huntley and Ambershire, Scotland. Yeah, still not Brown Foreman here. I had like 4 bottles of it before Brown Foreman purchased it because I was really afraid. And also, you can see this is a bar bottle version, so this is restaurant approved. I can bring this into a restaurant and drink it, and I won't get in trouble.
Oh wow!
Stamp on it.
I'm gonna go ahead and mark it off that you're gonna do 80% of that and 20% of the Ardbeg 10, just to see, if it makes.
Steven, what do you think? Ardbeg 10 or the Lagavulin 8?
Which would you rather try?
Well, the Lagavulin 8 has a higher ABV on it comparison to the.
Does the lag have some sherry cast though?
No.
No.
An 8-year-old.
The lag doesn't. The 8 doesn't.
Bourbon. They're both fully bourbon matured peated.
Okay.
I think the Lagavulin 8 would go well with the Glendronach 12. So yeah, try that out. Let's do 80% of the Glen 12 and 20% of the Lagavulin 8. I'll mark it here on the list and let me know what you think success-wise. You might have to let it sit for a little bit, but
yeah, let's say I'll sip my beer till it's ready.
I'm enjoying this Glen/Lag 10. I'm not sure though. The only thing I'm not sure of is the I mean, it's good. I just gotta that TCP iodine medicinal meets the sherry. I think it works. It does remind me of a bit of the PX, but not as sweet. It's more of like an Oloroso version of the PX cask, if that makes sense. Which is good. It's not bad.
Let it marry around a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely takes time for it to really settle, and sometimes you might even have to add like one little barely drop of water just to get the molecules flowing.
I add Guinness into it instead because I don't got water next to me.
Oh gosh, no, don't do that. Could you imagine adding Guinness to anything? Oh my goodness, that'd be crazy.
You should add Guinness to everything.
I do love Guinness, but I just couldn't imagine putting it in Scotch.
What did you say, Stephen? Sorry.
I'm almost full-blooded Irish, my family, so I'm a big Guinness fan.
Yeah, I'm a stout man, fanatic, but when I don't have time to go to the craft beer store, I'll just hit the grocery store and get my Guinness.
Yeah, I wish you were down here, man. I would give you some beer. I'm a big beer fan too, but I've got all these stout, the KBSs, and
I'm going to tell you something. When I did my Route 66 trip last year, Stephen, every single person that I met knew that I was a stout fan, and they were all buying me those really expensive Goose Island stouts, like the aged shit that's like 25 years. Yeah, and they taste horrible, and I felt so freaking bad, man.
Yeah, I mean,
they taste like,
depends on which ones they are, but
they all taste like rancid soya sauce, man. They're not freaking good.
Yeah, I like some of the KBSs. I like. This was pretty good. I mean, we shouldn't get on beer, but I mean that wasn't that bad. The KBS Canadian. Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of more like the traditional, more coffee stouts and the chocolate stouts and regular.
I don't know enough about beer. I'm really kind of a novice when it comes to that.
Looks like Donner. I'm so sorry, guys. Donner was saying that he tried this Bunnahabhain 12 with a Port Charlotte 10 and thought it was very good. Someone's marking that on the spreadsheet while you guys are doing your thing. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm going to ask him.
Oh, yeah. That's DHS. Right. You need the age. The Bourbon County, I've heard that is better when it's aged.
All right.
KBS, though, I've heard the KBS is better when aged, at least the last couple of years.
I think I'm going to like this because, Telex knows I'm a huge fan of Kilhome and PX Sherry. Cast strength. And right away when I brought this to my nose, it smelled almost identical to that Kilhome and PX Sherry. So
that's going to be a good one then. It sounds
like beautiful like smoked raspberry note.
Yeah.
That sounds good already.
Smoked raspberry. That reminds me of some long row reds that I've had that I've enjoyed with that raspberry. That's I think I had a Malbec here on Saturday night.
Wow, that's really good.
Really good.
That's really good. That's better. That's almost. I almost want to say that might be a little better than that Kilhome and PX. But it's got. I think it's because that Glendronach is 80%, and I only put 20% lag. So it's got a lot more of a sweetness at the end of it.
Yeah.
So, that's nice. And it's also the Kilhome is 5 years of age, and these combined. Well, the 12 the Glendronach is a 12, and then you got the 8-year-old. So they're both older whiskeys.
You guys keep talking. I got to plug my computer up now. My computer's about to die too.
Okay.
1 second.
I'm going to mark that as a green. That way I'll know it's a good mix. And I think DHS is still in my column because that won't let me change the fill on that. So I'll wait till later to do mine. But
it's incredibly fruity. And then you got that really long lingering aftertaste that keeps going down because of that peat that hits you.
Still good though for the finish.
Beautiful, sweet, very sweet and very peated.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because it's funny because I as soon as you said Lagavulin 8 and the Glen 12, it makes sense, but I wouldn't have thought of that like just from the get go when I was thinking about
the vanilla from the bourbon casking from the Lagavulin is really interacting really well with the full sherry casking of the Glendronach. It's really marrying nicely.
Oh, he created conditional formatting so you can't fill. Well, why do that, man? Don't do that. Take that off. Whatever you did, DHS, please. I can't get the fill off of there to change mine back to a different color. Yeah, just remove it. I mean, I took some of it off. I was trying to fill mine in there, but
Have a good evening, Chad.
yeah, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Hmm.
The
That was
I'm
a
glad
great
you
idea.
worked
I might have to make a mix there. I might have to make a mix. That's actually really nice.
I think the Lagavulin 8 that you mentioned it is a great base, like also with like a Springbank 14 bourbon would probably work really well. It's a little older, but it's got the same kind of profile as a Lagavulin 8. Wouldn't you think, as far as a straightforward bourbon?
I only got. I've run out of pretty much. I finished my Springbank 15. All I've got left is the old school bottling of Springbank 12 cat drink, which I'm not mixing with shit because
Dude, don't mix that.
those things are very close to my heart, and
Yeah.
it's finished now because I don't want to buy the new editions. I've tried the new editions of the Springbank cast drink. Not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, I'm not as in love as I was back in 2014, 2015.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I've got an older one I've been really kind of milking, and I know somewhere in town there's.
This is all I have left of my Springbank 12.
Yeah.
Literally,
So
I'm nursing it so much. Like, this is it. This is all I've left, and I don't want.
There's
I don't want to
one
drink.
shop that has 4 of them that I'm kind of like, should I go get them all, or what should I do? 'Cause I really do like the older ones.
Yeah. I bought a bottle of the new one. I drank it with some friends, but I was just like, I don't want to lie. I kind of fell out of love with Springbank in 2017, and I've been more in love with their Long Grow and their Hazelburn products than I have been with their Springbank. I've just not been impressed with Springbank for a little while.
Have you had the local barley products?
Yes, I've had the 11 and the 16. I bought both bottles.
Like the 16.
16 was good. The 11 was so not worth the price. I paid $180
Yeah, I
for
agree
that
with
bottle.
11. I'm a big fan of the 16, but it's not worth the price.
Mhm.
What it's going for now.
And I didn't buy the 9-year-old because I'm not stupid.
Right. I didn't either.
Yeah. I'm not going to spend $160 on a 9-year-old whiskey.
I say that. I'm making sure I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this conditional formatting taken off because what I'm trying to do, DHS, is use the colors to let people know if it's worth trying or not. So for Swami's, for example, I made his 80 and 20 green for the Glendronach 12 old version and the Lagavulin 8. And on mine, like the Laphroaig 10 CS and the Glendronach 12, I'm going to make that a different color, like in between, where I'm going to make it like a
That's really good.
an orange or a yellow or something that means that it's good, but maybe not as good as a green one. Green I'll probably save for like the really good stuff. The yellows and the oranges, you know.
I only buy old school bottles, by the way.
Well, if you can help it. I mean, sometimes you don't really have much of a choice, do you?
That's the one good thing about Quebec is that like you can always get your old school bottles. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where do you go to get your old school bottles, you say?
Well, we can only get the old school bottles because Quebec is a government-run liquor board. It's the SAC, so there's a lot of bureaucracy. So they end up holding bottles in stock in their warehouses for like ever. So every time they go on the shelves, they're usually about 2-3 years old from being in the shelving. So let's say you want a bottle of Ugadale. The good news is you'll probably get a bottle of 2017-year-old Ugadale instead of 2019 Ugadale or something like that.
Well, you picked a great one. You picked a great one to pull out. Highland Park. That was one that's the old ones are.
Oh,
there's a noticeable difference there.
Yeah, the 12-year-old especially. I find the 12-year-old is a big difference.
Yeah.
The 18-year-old, another thing I just don't want to buy from that artist. As most of you know, I am half Jewish, half Italian. So the artist is a well-known xenophobe in Sweden. So I don't want to buy anything that has his art on the bottle. So
is that on the newer bottle you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I still understand like how they're still producing them, even though it was found out like 3 years ago. But whatever. I don't want to support a xenophobe. So.
No, I don't blame
Yeah, that's all.
I think the way I'm going to make this easy for the key, the legend of the spreadsheet for blends is the darker the red, like closer toward the dark red is the worst, closer toward the purple is like the best, just to make it easy for like a spectrum of finding, you know, one versus another. So for Swami, since you like that one a lot, I'll make that, I'm going to make that a little.
But
Well, I
it may
can't
not have
get
been as good if I used your Brown Foreman 12 because this 12 has 43, so it's got a bit more mouthfeel to it. Whereas, I don't know. Did you hear Rachel Berry got inducted though into like the whiskey Master Distillers Hall of Fame? I don't know how. I don't understand it.
I did mark it as the old version of it, so that way people can tell it's the Glen 12 old and not just the Glendronach 12. So
I hope they didn't induct her just because she's female. Like that's one thing because like she destroyed Bowmore.
yeah,
Ruining Glendronach, and I don't understand how like like I get like people want to be nice because she's female, but come on, she's not a good master distiller. I'm just being honest. Like
when did she what's the year she was at Bowmore? I mean Bowmore.
She destroyed Bowmore.
Yeah, 80s Bowmore is like the worst. I mean 80s and early 90s. That's really the
90s was her. 90s was her.
But not late 90s. Late 90s, I feel like they took a turn back. At least what I've had, they took a better turn.
The only Bowmore I had in the 90s that I have to 2000s. I have to say. Well, that's after she left. The Devil's Cast kind of brought me back, and also Vault Edition 1 was amazing.
Yeah.
But with the new revival, I've heard that it's not worse than the old one. It's just different. Is that really true?
It's not great.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I like the old version.
Okay.
You gotta look at it this way. Tell us. The old one was, and I mentioned this on my channel last week. I did a live about it. The old one is a 18 to 20-year-old product, and the new one is a 15-year-old product. Yet the new one is the exact same price as the old one.
Right.
It's an inferior product.
Right.
It's an inferior product.
No, you're just getting an incredible deal, but or previously, that was an incredible deal.
Yeah.
They're not going to sell it like that nowadays. I mean, that's if they can help it, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they also put it out there for the secondary market so that they can, I don't want to get into politics. No. I don't know.
No, that's true. It's important to talk about these things because people aren't going to know. Because I've heard mixed reviews on the 15 revival now versus the old, and if she's like,
I mean, it's not bad.
As bad as people say she is, and I've heard kind of a
the old one was 46%, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe it was 46. Yeah.
Yeah, and the new one is what?
I thought it was 46 too.
It's 46. I don't remember. I drank my.
I'm not sure on that one. I have to look that one up. Let's see.
I believe it's 46 still, but
I know the new Allardyce is going to be a 46 comparison to the old one, which was a 48. So I'm a little annoyed about that.
Well, that's why I've been buying that shit up.
Yeah.
Later on, Loch Ness. Thanks so much for coming, man. And
all right, Loch Ness. See you, man.
Hopefully, we'll see you guys soon. This is pretty good. I'm not sure if I'm sold with the Laphroaig medicinal TCP iodine thing.
I don't see that Laphroaig mixing well because of the heavy. I get a lot of smoked salmon off of Laphroaig, and I get a lot of medicinal and a lot of seaweed. So I don't know how Laphroaig. Well, not true because the lore has a lot of sherry cask.
Let me tell you, some of the Laphroaigs I've had there sherried are incredible. But I mean, it's a older than a 10 too, so it's not as strong in the Laphroaig character. I mean, you still got great Laphroaig character, but it's not as medicinal and as that youthful peat.
It's hard. It's really hard. People don't. I find it's actually really hard to marry sherry with peated whiskeys, especially Oloroso and Fino. And I think that you should always go towards it. Telex talked about this 3 weeks ago. where I think PX works a lot better with peated because you have two intense flavors mixing together, the peat and the PX, and PX can kind of stand up to the peat. Where I don't find Oloroso really stands up to it. I find that the peat will always win over Oloroso. I've never tried.
Really?
Yeah, I've never tried a peated whiskey where the Oloroso wins.
Right. That's a good point. It is a lot easier to marry with PX with peat. I think you're right about that. I think that's why the Lagavulin Distillers Edition is pretty successful because they do PX.
Well, I got the Kalila Isla Distillers Edition with PX as well, but I don't have the. I had a bottle of Lagavulin. I reviewed it. I wasn't a fan of the Lagavulin PX special edition though. I really like better the Kalila Isla.
What about the Laphroaig PX cask? Do you like that one?
I haven't had it.
Oh, I think you'd like it. I mean, it's a very sweet dram. If you don't
Is that
mind
a
the very
carcass,
sweet.
though? Is that a
Huh?
carcass?
No, PX cask is a travel retail exclusive, but you can still order it online maybe.
There's one that really matches well with the Oloroso.
Is that the 14?
Huh?
Is that the 14?
No, it's 14. Let's see. This might be. It's a 60.1. This is the one they did a couple of years ago. It's not the Shield. It's the higher proof one, and I believe it is 14. 14 or 15. I think it's 14.
I had a sample of it. I didn't have a bottle of that one. I like
that one.
Yeah, but the Buddha Hob and Peat is so light. It's like it's
this
really
one's
light.
not, man. This one's not. I mean, I
No.
don't think it's at all.
No.
Not this one. No, I know what you're talking about, but that one right there is.
They push it.
That's in your face on that one, man. It is. It's pretty heavy peated. I mean, it's not. It's not Octomore or anything, but it's got a big peated taste.
It's probably about 30 to 40 ppm.
I have not reviewed yet a Buna on my channel.
Oh wow!
Oh man, yeah.
I'm nearing 200 reviews and I still haven't reviewed a Buna.
I'm surprised. Not at the 12 or the 18 even. Huh?
No. I bought a bottle of 25, but that was back in.
Can people send you samples, Swami?
Pardon?
Can people send you samples?
You can send me samples anytime, brother.
All right,
go on Facebook.
I'll send you. What do you want to?
Telex. Give him my Facebook at the end of the show.
Sure. Okay.
And,
I'll send you a Buna Hob in there too. I do.
You send me whatever you like. I like what you got going on there.
Yeah.
Again, you know me, as you said before I got on. I'm an independent channel. I don't get free bottles.
Yeah.
So I accept samples. I'm not a snob like certain other channels. And
I mean, it is better to go that way because no one can ever say that you're compromised on your presentation.
I said it once. I said it a million times. It's impossible not to be compromised if you're taking free balls. Reasons why?
Right.
They're being nice to you. So right away it sways you because you don't want to be an asshole.
Right. No, that's very true. I completely agree with you on that one.
Even if you're going to give a bad review, it's still not going to be a fully 100% honest review because you're not going to be mean.
Yeah.
You can when I send you a sample, you can talk shit about it, Swami.
Yeah. I can talk shit about people's
I might
samples.
send you something shitty just for the hell of it.
I don't think you're gonna find something wrong with this sample though, because he usually finds some pretty darn good things to.
Do you guys me give you a quick look and show you kind of.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us the tour.
Yeah.
This is.
I want to see that. I want to see that Glenn Dronick shelf because.
All right, hold on.
Your jaw's gonna drop, man. His collection on Glendronix alone is, and don't even get me started on the family cast stuff. Oh my god.
Okay, so I'll start up here.
Glenn Farkless stuff was extraordinary, man.
I had a lot of Glenn Farkless family castings and stuff. What's going on there?
Look at that Ellen, man. Jesus.
Yeah,
we got a Brora 35. I said Brora 37 and a Brora 35. Hey, I reviewed the Balvenie 21. It's going to be coming up on my channel next.
Nice.
I love that tune for 1401. That's the year. I mean, the number to get.
I'll give you a little sneak peek. The Balvenie 21, 40%. I don't know how they did it, but it has a beautiful viscosity. It's weird.
Now here, this my birth year 72. So you guys need to come down to Nashville for my 50th. This is a couple of the bottles that'll be open. These
man,
rare
malts,
Warlock and Linkwood.
23.
Those will be open.
Yeah, you let me know when, and I'll be there with bells on, my friend.
It'll be worth it. Trust me, it will be worth a plane ticket.
And I'll try to get you a really something nice on the side that you have.
I tell you what, if you like sherry, I love these two Benrennies right here. These are fantastic, especially this 23 is just ungodly.
Oh,
good.
that 23 looks beautiful, man.
And
Is that a
too,
Flora and Fauna bottling back there?
Do what?
Is that 23 a Flora and Fauna type bottling, or that?
No, it's not a Flora and Fauna. No, it's high proof. It's a special. It's 56.8.
Nice. It just has that classic look to it.
Yeah, it's the classic. I know what you're talking. Yeah, the front of it, the label does. Now, I am a big fan, as you know, Telex. I told you the
Talisker, yeah.
There's cast strengths. This is.
I've only done one. I've only done one Talisker on my channel, the 10. I've got to do some more.
I'll send you maybe this 8. I'll send you a sample of this 8 cast strength.
Nice.
Which is
I think you'll really like Talisker, Swami.
Yeah. I've had a lot of Taliskers, but if I don't have the bottle, I tend to not really review them. I try not.
Yeah, well, if you don't have any. Well, I'll send it to you to enjoy. You can just decide if you want to review or not.
No, I will review samples. I've done it, but it's a rarity. I try not to do them all the time because I just figure people like to see the bottle when you review it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so it's 20 this times. So,
I had that 1992. Is that the 14-year-old? The 1992 right there.
Which one?
The Glen Drone.
No, this is a 25. This is a cast 334.
All right, where's the 14-year-old? That one I reviewed on my channel.
I don't. I've got a few younger ones like 11 and 13. I don't even know if I have a 14.
I reviewed the 14.
This is the Glen. This is the Grandeur Batch 10 back here. And then,
the only one I ever bought was the 14-year-old.
I have about 30 different. These are all different casts too. These are none of the same. I have like my stash of duplicates in another place.
You got the Grandeur 24?
Yeah, this is the 25 or 20. Let me see what this 27 year. This is the 27 year right here.
I recently reviewed the 24. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan, man. This is the hand fills here. These are hand fills from the distillery.
Oh wow!
And these are probably the darkest. If you want to see dark,
you can't even see through it.
Yeah.
That's insane, and that's not a colored bottle either. That's like straight up clear.
Yeah, that's clear bottle.
That's some sexual chocolate right there.
Oh, shit, exactly. Man. Let me tell you, this shit right here is so good.
Oh, that's like eye candy for everyone.
Yeah, it's just fan. I'm a huge Glendronach fan. This is what got me into sherry, honestly. Let's see. This is a Taiwanese bottling here. They like to do their little special packaging.
Wow, that is pretty special in the wood and everything.
Yeah.
All right, so and then these are those signatories. This is a 20 and 21-year-old Laphroaig sherry cask.
Who sells the signatory? Because I never seen them again.
You know, honestly, man, I had to get those overseas, man. I couldn't. They don't. Yeah, they're not here. I
always figured they were at Costco or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean the 21 I did get in the States because it's a state release. It's 750 milliliter. The 20 I got on in Edinburgh at right there on the main strip. So, and I probably overpaid for it, but I'm so happy I got it. I've had this one.
There's one specialty store in Maryland that's got some of those, but yeah, it's hard to find this inventory specialized stuff.
Did you
that's
see?
Really high A.
Charlie, did you see you saw this packaging earlier? Yeah, this is. Well, hold on, so I'm with the phone down. Just 1 second.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a really nice. The Suntory guys did a really good job on the packaging on those too.
He went white.
Yeah, hold on. Will it go?
Your dog
change the angle. There you go.
A second. There we go.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Look at that. My goodness.
I'm just trying to compare what Highland Park prices are for their crappy ass freaking packaging compared to these beautiful packages.
I know, man. Yeah. Well, they put out shit like, every week, and you just don't know what to even. It's just numbing almost. And then this is Laphroaig, since we talked about Laphroaig. That's the 25. I've got a lot of the 10s and Carchus. This is the Taiwanese. I think it's a 14-year-old.
Yeah, tell them how pretty that bottle is, man. That's nice.
That's gorgeous.
All
right, I'm going to enjoy something a little more because of all these beautiful drinks. I'm going to enjoy something a little more expensive.
I might open. Yeah, I'm going to open something. I think.
All right, it's not compared to your levels, but
what is that?
Got here I got here. This is a first edition Glen Elky 25-year-old. So
Oh, dude, that's fucking great. That's good
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, I'm gonna drink this.
Damn.
All right. So Highland Park. I'll tell you what. Here's another Cadenhead. If you want to see some incredible Cadenhead bottles, that right there, 30-year-old Highland Park. That's I've had now this one. You'll see dark. That's a 26. First fill sherry, Cadenhead, Highland Park. This one's incredible.
Nice.
This is my second bottle of this one. This one's great. And I've got some older ones here. Older 18. One of the dumpy bottles. I'm a big fan of the 21, which is no longer available.
That one's really hard to find. I want to get my hands on that.
That kills the 25-year-old. I reviewed that last.
Yeah.
Right. You have to do it right after you have the 25-year-old. You have to have them side by side to really see it. And
well, this is a pretty good 25. This is.
Oh yeah, you got the Stumpy. That's
90s,
different
yeah.
though. You got the old Stumpies.
Yeah.
But
That's what I collect with. If I'm going to get Highland Park, it's going to be the older shit.
Yeah.
But that's where it's good.
You learned that from Alan Brody.
No, I didn't. But well, he does love the 72s, man. So that's
me and Brody used to be really, really close, but he's annoyed me lately. So.
Good morning, Whiskey Pilgrim. Thanks for joining us. Good morning. I guess he's probably in Europe or something. It sounds like.
Rosebank 21 right there. Released. That's a 90, distilled at 90, released in 2011. This one, which I've had two Rosebanks. I haven't had this one yet, so we'll see it. It's great reviews. All right, down here, Portiskeag, the 10th anniversary. This is a really good bottle for about 90.
I have not had a Port Ascag yet.
Yeah, this is the 10th anniversary. If you're gonna get one, get this one. This is a really good one.
But they're like rather new. How old is it distillery now?
Well, this is it's Kalia is what this is.
Portiskeag is basically Kalia.
Yeah, it's just Kalia where sometimes. Supposedly, maybe a little bit of Lagavulin sometimes, but not often.
So they're owned by Diageo Ascag.
Let's see.
They
are.
They're actually owned by a bottling company.
Elixir Distillers.
I just always thought like Ardbeg is going to eventually sue them, because they like totally ripped on the labeling and stuff like that. So I figured eventually Ardbeg be like, you guys just like totally ripped off our labeling.
So here's. Some Balblairs. This is the one. This is my second. Bottle.
83. That's
you've had that.
God, that's gorgeous, man.
I reviewed the 89. I wasn't a very big fan of it. The 1990 was delicious.
Yeah,
you would like the 83, Swami. If you get your chance to have the 83, definitely take it. It's good.
Single cask 83.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
At 51.5. Yeah.
It's definitely the best Balblair I've ever touched before.
Just so balanced, it really is. Here. Let me tell you what. This one right here. This is a store pick. This is This is a first fill sherry, 13-year-old. Beats Dram's double the price.
They're another one that kind of reminds me. They kind of remind me again of the Glengoynes. They're very mellowed sherry whiskeys.
This one's got a little bit of. I mean, it's got a lot of sherry character being first fill, but that's excellent.
I recently did the 18-year-old, which is going to be pulled off the shelves. I did a review of it about 4 weeks ago.
And then my Bid Nevis here. This is single cast. This is a 21-year-old official bottling from '96.
Wow.
More signatory. This is a Bid Nevis 27, and then a Linkwood. I think that's a 30.
Well, you definitely got enough, Steve, to start your own channel eventually.
Yeah, I don't have time, man. All right, couple bourbons. One of my favorite bourbons there. I just want to point this out, but Booker's 25th anniversary. One of my favorite bourbons ever. And then my favorite rye of all time, Booker's Rye.
Nice. I love that box, man.
Yeah, they're just great.
I'm boring. My favorite rye of all time is still the Few.
Oh, the Canadian Few, yeah.
No, the American Few.
American Few.
You like Few? Oh man,
I love the rye. I don't like anything else from them.
I thought they were a Canadian company. They're not Canadian?
I don't like their bourbon. I don't like their single malt, but I love their rye. I don't know what it is. I've done challenges with it against like some really high end ryes, and it always win. Yeah.
I don't want to tell you. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe my palate wasn't ready. But
the one I'm loving right now is right here, brother.
Yeah, show me a good rye.
What
This
city
is
is?
this is the one I'm loving right now. I'm drinking a lot.
Oh, dude,
Oh, that's the one I want to get my hands on, man.
Oh, Pikesville's great, man.
It's
That's a
one.
great one.
It's becoming my favorite now.
I've been
Oh,
wanting to try that,
yeah,
but I
I'm
can't
with you.
find it
I
anywhere.
love Pikesville.
I've been trying to find that, but I can't find it
All
anywhere.
right, so here's a 72 Glen Ross 72. That's a birthday bottle. A little bit of Edward right here. A beautiful bottle. I love
Oh,
this.
wow.
I love the
Good
Have
hours.
have you had a chance to try the straight from the casks yet?
I have. I
They're
like
so good.
Pelicans
it
are
is
good,
so
too.
I put it on my top 10 list of whiskeys to try before you die. You got to get that 10-year-old fully sherry matured.
Yeah.
Edinburgh. It's
All right,
so
Swami,
good.
pick what you want here. I think all these are open.
Whatever you want to send me.
5.
Surprise. Do it like Throttle does. Throttle just sends me a package every once in a while with a bunch of samples, and he puts
Yeah,
a little
so
map for me to figure
I'll
out.
surprise you a little bit too. Buddha 25. That's an old 18, which I love. There's the Moine Olorosa. That's a special the release I got this year from out of.
Amontillado, nice.
Yeah, I got that at the distillery, and then back here another bottle I love, the PX.
Oh, I got to get me a bottle of that sometime.
That's so good, so good.
All we have at the SAC right now is the Boona 18 and the Boona 12, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm just not a fan of the 12-year-old and the 18 I've had, and it just didn't really do anything for me.
I do love maybe because it's. I was telling Telex earlier that the Boona 18 was one that kind of got me into one of the few that got me into the high end or really great Scotch. That's kind of what took me.
Well, in 2011, while I was on a cruise, I bought the Boona Hobbin 25-year-old for $230. And now,
that's a great deal.
Now I know it sells for like 600 or something like that.
Well, no, see, I found them here like in rinky-dink little backwoods stores. I got this one for $320.
Okay.
So not bad.
Yeah.
A lot of 12s, Lagavulin 12, which I love. The 19 Bashil. This is this year's. That's my duplicates right there. So they're all. Yeah. All right, Whiskey.
Mine never make it duplicate.
Mind if I show you bourbon? You guys all right? Looking at bourbon too.
All right, you got the Four Roses right there.
I don't want to bore anybody. This is a Japanese release of Wild Turkey, 17-year.
Yeah.
1999, 2000. Some really old. This is 2012. This is my favorite Four Roses single small batch, which is 2012.
My mom wants that one. She's been wanting me to find a limited edition for her someplace. It's not an easy find, though.
Oh, no, it's not. Older Wild Turkey, 80s Wild Turkey.
Turkey's still awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Here's one of my favorites, 80s old Granddad 114 from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
You know what annoys the hell out of me, man? Is that I'm not even talking. People think like you're talking years ago. I'm talking 2016. I could find Wild Turkey. This is the regular stuff for like $15.
Yeah.
The 101 was $22 Canadian. The rare breed was all over the shelves for like $30. Now they're all gone. There's only just the regular Wild Turkey, and that one sells for $40 now.
Wow.
Dude, let me tell you, this bottle, I've got this bottle because it reminded me of like early 2000s, around 2002, 2001.
Oh, I've had that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Vintage bourbon, like ultra rare now. This is supposedly this one could be Stetzer Weller juice, but I don't know if it is.
It is actually. I got that one from my. He's passed away now. But my father-in-law. After I got him the Pappy, before I was trying to find something that would be good, that would be to that caliber, and that's the bottle that I found, and he was really happy with that one too.
I'll tell you that I remember drinking this, in the early 2000s, just straight off the damn, shelf, and back then it was like, I thought it was crazy expensive at $65.
No, God, that's a steal, man.
Yeah,
I love that, and I love the way they did the maker's type of candle wax bottle thing too.
My B-Tax, I've got there's a gold foil turkey back there.
I'm not a huge fan of the Weller LaRue, sir. I'm not a fan.
I'm not either. It's too sweet for me. I'm a Stag fan more.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to it because I want to kind of have it, but I don't know, might trade it for some Scotch or something.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 2014 Stag. I've got handies, mostly Stag handies, and some. I believe they just get so crazy expensive, man. I had a SAS 18 from 2007, and a guy offered me $1,200 for it. I was like, okay, I'll take it.
Chris
I mean,
Beaton, Chris Beaton, just to let you know, I know what the prices are in Alberta. The thing is that because I want to purchase them, but again, I was telling Stephen and Telex before, it's an extra $20 to $30 for me to have them delivered. So that just like ruins the price line for me. It's like,
Right.
I'm spending like $67 on a cheap bourbon.
Defeats the purpose. Yeah.
Here's one that's near and dear to my heart. This is Booker's. This is his death bottle. This was released in 2004.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when he passed away, special release.
Jeez, man.
So
I can only imagine what that's like.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna. That's one
Yeah,
that I might.
that one you might have to hold on to for a while,
I mean,
unless you
sooner
can
or
find a
later
way.
I'll drink it unless somebody offers me crazy money. But I mean, I really do buy. I mean, this one I'll be honest with you. This one I didn't expect to drink right away. I mean, most of these others I will drink.
You got any Armagnacs or cognacs going on in there?
You know, I've got a few, but not much, man. I'm just, then a little more bourbon down here. A lot of Four Roses.
Yeah.
All these are open, man. Almost all these are open. I'm just kind of going through the bourbon. All right, so let's see here.
See Colonel Taylor down there.
Yeah, a lot of Elijah Craig, small batch.
I got the old grenade right here too.
Yeah, man, I love that stuff. I love it.
Right here, buddy.
And then, we do a lot of store picks around here. So this is a lot of my buddies' store picks from around here, mostly Russell's Reserve. I love that one, man. Which one is that? What's the proof on that one?
This one is 68 proof. It's the last bottling before the new bottles came out.
68%?
Yeah, I think it's the last bottles before the new.
Dude, same one as this. I've got that one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so then Ardbegs.
The 20-somethings, oh man.
23, 22, 21. This 23. You've had, did I give the 23? Have you had that? Telex, did I send you that? Or?
I have, actually, Mr. Lee, Aquaman, brought a Ardbeg 20-something with him to DC when we had a get-together. And that's the only time I had it. I think it was the 23 version. I want to say.
I'm trying to see what out there. Some good dolls.
Give me the camera over, have another beer.
It's the alligator.
We get a collection. It's crazy.
Oh, there's the Corey Becken committee.
Oh my goodness! How do you see?
I'm looking really forward to open that one. That's gonna be
insane.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that would be like, man. I forgot they even did a committee release for that type.
The roller coaster committee.
Ooh! Oh my God! if I die, go to heaven. I'm going to your closet.
Yeah, man. No, trust me. I like this. Is where I sleep sometimes.
He's another whiskey throttle.
Dude, I love it though, man.
He is. I told him he should get with Daniel and compare collections together.
Hey, here's one of my best bottles that I had in Scotland when I went there.
22 Kalila. Wow.
Which
58.4. This is the
black
bottle this year.
58.4. Wow.
Which black arts you got there?
4.1. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's the classic, man. That's the one to
go. It's still readily available. I'm buying another bottle of it next month.
Yeah,
I got to finish I got the 6.1, then I got to finish it off first, and I got to review it before I finish it.
Here's a couple. If you guys see these, these are great. I'm not a huge Laphroaig fan, but these single cask nations, both of these, they're really, really good.
I've only had the Laphroaig 10. That's the only one.
Yeah, this blows that away. These are really good, and they're not super. This one's a sherry, and then this one's bourbon, but they're fantastic.
I've had an 18 at the regular 18 that was I forgot the cask, but it was pretty good actually. Not too bad.
It's my Cavalon, but I love Cavalon is just quality stuff. They really do a great job. The Vino Barric's probably my favorite. But
I hate the sherry. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan.
You know what, man? Hey, you know what? No, you know what? It's like balsamic vinegar almost. It's just too much.
It's so gritty. I find it gritty.
It takes on too much the cask character. It's just too much. I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100%. I have some older ones. I have some like first edition shit down here, and I'm just kind of like, I think I'm just going to sell them because I mean, I'm not a big fan. Now, the Vino Barrique I love the port, man. Some good port ones. Shit, man, this is fantastic.
I've only had the bourbon cask and the sherry cask, and the bourbon cask didn't do anything for me, and the sherry cask felt like I was chewing sand almost. I was like,
it's
gritty.
I'm not I'm with you, man. I've not been a big fan either. A lot of people love them, but the port, I think you'd love the port. And the Vino Barrique, you get a good Vino Barrique. They're all different though, but you get a good Vino Barrique, you're gonna love it. Look, this is one from Larry too. This is the laser etched one.
Oh gosh,
yeah,
that's insane. Soloist, yeah.
Yeah, the Soloist. So it's these are fantastic, and I've got a lot of these open. A lot of these are open in here, and then the more premium ones supposedly, but I could tell. And then some of the other distillery only releases, the PD and the rum. A lot of the older ones. These are like all first, second edition.
If you got a Foursquare down there, if you could send me a sample, I would freaking cut your leg.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got some Foursquare.
Oh, you motherfucker! Send me some Foursquare.
That's the only rum that I love. Foursquare. That and what's the other one which I don't have but I've had, which I love, the diesel one. Was it Carnoli or Cannoli? What's the name of it? You know what I'm talking about? The Dead Distillery. It's the dead one.
All I can get in Quebec when it comes to deluxe whiskeys, they got a really good selection of the plantations for the cask strengths and stuff like that. And they used to have a really good selection of Eldorados, but they took all the cask strengthers off the fucking shelves, and now all we have is the fucking main line.
Swami, Caroni is what it is. The Caroni.
Yeah.
Do you like any of those? Have you had any of those?
Nope.
It's like diesel though, but
I'm definitely gonna send you my address on Facebook. You send me some of that Foursquare.
All right, man. I will.
All right.
Here's the Springers right here. This is 25 year. This is I got this luckily right before Masters Malt stopped shipping here. This is one of 100.
Damn.
I got this secondary, but it wasn't a bad deal, honestly. This is a first fill sherry, and then there's a lot of the local barleys. I got a good deal in the 18. I probably would have bought that.
That 16 alone is like crazy.
Yeah, I had a bottle of the 16. It's done a long time ago.
Little Pulteney, the long roast, which I do enjoy a lot. Kilkerran.
Yeah, I got a Kilkerran.
I love Kilkerran 12 is like a go-to. I love.
I got my. I always got a bottle of Kilkerran 12.
Hey, Swami, have you tried the heavily peated yet? I saw it in the store recently, and I was hesitant. I've heard mixed reviews on it. Did you either of you guys like the heavily peated Kilkerran?
I've not had it.
The 8-year-old, yeah. Mike, that's crazy. Brought the bottle over. We drank some of it a couple of months ago. It was good stuff.
Okay. Those are the family casks. Oh, man.
There's another 72 here.
That's crazy.
Julien has a 27-year-old. And I think he's got a 25. That's what he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, man.
And then Irish Middletons. That's just the Middletons here.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
This is
I'll be right back. My computer's about to die. I gotta get the plug. Hold on.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I'm also a big Amrud fan. Which is this is one of my harder bottles to get right here. This is the original Spectrum, which is not the 4, but the original, which is a pretty tough bottle to get.
The only thing I've had of them recently that I really liked was a rye that was really good. Do you like the rye stuff too?
I've not had the rye. I heard it's really different.
I actually liked it a lot, though. I thought it was up my alley. But
you'd like the Bengal Tiger, I said, you right? The
that was really, really damn good too. I forgot about that one. You're right.
Amrud, man. Have you tried the Fusion?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking Telex. Have you had the Fusion?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I've had the Bengal Tiger that he sent. I had a rye before. I don't know if I ever had the Fusion though.
Send him some of the Fusion, man. The Fusion is just delicious, and it's like so cheap. It's not funny, and it's
it is. That's great. You know what, Telex, you'd love this. You like the sweet peat? This is This is really good right here. You would love this one, this special release they had.
I'll have to look for the
You know, I sold most of my Japanese. I got rid of all of it because it's not worth the money.
Yeah.
Well, now that it's all Scottish.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I sold most of my Compass box too. Honestly, I had a full shelf of Compass box and sold most of them.
Yeah, once it's so it makes you sad. This is one of the things that makes me sad as a reviewer. It's like because we're and I don't want to toot my horn. I'm saying all reviewers in general, like even the high enders. We tend to make things trend because we influence people on what to buy, and these companies, the distilleries that have great product end up just putting out shit after years because we make them so popular. Compass Box, if it wasn't for whiskey influencers, would still be Compass Box. And
Yeah.
now, Compass Box is just like Macallan's. It's overpriced. It's mostly grain whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, nice to find.
What broke me, I'll tell you what broke me is which is still a fine whiskey, but not the Tobias and the Angel.
Mm-hmm.
I bought. I don't even want to say how many I bought. But I bought too many of them, and they're $500 a pop.
Oh man!
And because it's this beautiful packaging, right? You got this. They had to this real painting, like it's based on a painting, and they had to pay rights for that painting to put on the packaging and shit. And it's fine, but it is not even close to worth that. And luckily, I was able to sell them the cost and move them on, but. I was like, after that, I was like, what am I doing buying, blended malt for $500?
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I mean, if I can buy some really things I'm going to really enjoy, that's going to hold their value. If I ever do want to, have to move them for some reason, why not buy something that I'm going to, want to open and enjoy?
Well, from what I see, like John Glazer has not met a whiskey review channel he doesn't like because he's doing interviews on every single last one. It doesn't matter if you have like 125 subscribers to 30,000 subscribers. He's like on every channel now.
Yeah. I mean, before they started going like the Flaming Hearts, I love. I mean, they're great. I mean, the phenomenology was really good, but I mean,
that's the one I like. Phenomenology,
yeah, they just started creeping up in price. I mean,
190 though is a bit pricey. I think I can find it like for 190 here for that one.
I have 3 Compass boxes that I love. All right, the Peat Monster, which is reasonably priced. I like it a lot. It's great every day. The Flaming Hearts is fucking gorgeous.
I think they're great. Yeah.
Oh, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And the Spice Trees, even the extravaganza, the Spice Trees,
really
they're great. Just the regular full range. The rest of them, the no name, I fucking thought it was so boring. And I don't care. Everyone can get mad at me. I thought that no name was so fucking boring. And I was like, it's fucking Ardbeg. It's an Ardbeg fucking 10-year-old.
You know what?
I'm with you, man.
I'm with you 100%. I love the packaging. It was a beautiful bottle, right?
Yeah.
And his Ardbeg, 15-year-old Ardbeg, I'm like, I'm going to love this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd rather have the 10, honestly. I mean, it was just like, whatever, for $140 or whatever.
I know. I was drinking. I was like, I took I had the bottle to review, and I didn't even bother reviewing it because I was drinking the 10 next to it, and I was like, no, I'm not even going to review this. It's fucking Ardbeg 10. I was like, what? Like, I get the Ardbeg 10 for 90, and in Canada, that thing sells for 180. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
Well, I'm going to bring this home, guys. I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I do too.
Let me.
You're an hour ahead. Yeah.
Let me talk to you about one last thing before we wrap it up here. Have either of you guys had the new carriages from this year, the Triple Wood?
Yeah, I have.
Swami, you having it? What did you think of this one, Stephen? I'm just curious of what you're.
I like. It's young tasting a little bit. I mean, I liked it. It's better than the Fino. Fino to me, the year before, it opened up. It took a long time to open up for me. It wasn't that great when it first opened. But I think it's good. I'd rather probably have the 10 cast straight.
Yeah.
But it's cheaper. So
I do like it better than the standard Triple Wood. I will say that.
Yeah.
It's definitely got that going for it, and it's not much more expensive comparatively because the Triple Wood still commands a $75 to $85 price, and you can get that for this. So why not go for the cast strength version?
No, I agree. I'm with you. I enjoyed it. But I think I told you they gave it to us on that Laphroaig kind of that tour. So I had it like in the best possible place you could possibly try Laphroaig.
Yeah.
So I've got a bottle. I just haven't opened it yet, and I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm not sure it's going to be as good as it was when you're sitting by their Laphroaig's water supply when it's sunny day on Isla. So that kind of that made a difference. That influenced the taste, I'm sure.
I've had a bit to drink tonight, but yeah, I'm gonna have to try it again and see what I think. But so far, so good. I like it because it is a step up from the typical triple wood, at least. So,
what did you think of the 10? Did you say the 10 cast strength? Did you drink?
No,
you said you drank a little bit, right?
Yeah, I split it. I had a little bit by itself before I mixed it with the Glendronach 12. And by itself, yeah, it was dead on what I remembered with the old 8 that I had before. The batch 11 still solid. I got the same kind of toffee notes with the fruit, with the peat, heavy medicinal TCP, iodine, the whole 9 yards was all there, and it wasn't lacking anything at all. It didn't, I didn't even have to add water to enjoy it. So to me, that's a plus, plus, plus.
No doubt about it.
Well, before I let you go, Swami, and head off into the sunset, anything you want to say about the channel or anything before you?
Sure. Telex gonna go up air. I still got I'm sorry, my camera right now is being held together by like tape and shit.
It's okay.
To all you guys who want to stick around and stay up a little bit, I'm gonna go live after Telex goes off air.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, why not, Steven? If you want to join me, or if you want to go to bed, go to bed. But if you want,
I can do 30 minutes.
All right. All right. I'm not gonna say how long. I'm gonna do like Steven said. I'm probably gonna do like another 30 minutes. Like I said, I got beer in the glass. I want to finish it up. And you're not an alcoholic. You don't drink alone. And this week, look forward to it. I've got a fun little review that me and Pierre did while we were in Vermont about 2 weeks ago on the bikes. It's going to be a Eagle Rare cast strength. No, not the Eagle Rare cast strength. Which one is it? I can't fucking remember. Anyways, it's on there. And then we also got the Balvenie 21-year-old. One of the final reviews that Julien and me did together before. We got 2 more reviews together, and then Julien becomes a member of the enemy. And he will no longer be a member of the channel. But I still love him, and I wish him all the best of luck, but he's a sellout. We got offered the same job. I said no. He said yes. So,
well, très bien, mon ami, and I really appreciate you coming by, Swami, with everything. And I'm gonna go get some water after I break with you guys because I'm gonna need some more. I've been drinking a little bit all night tonight, so if you get a couple glasses of water, I'll come back and I'm gonna watch Swami. So if you guys are still tuned in, tune over to Swami here in a couple minutes. And I want to say really a big thank you to Stephen Connor for coming by and sharing your
collection. That's a beautiful collection.
And the knowledge from Laphroaig. I mean, he spent a lot of time at the distillery and got to know the ins and outs, and is really helpful with giving a really good overview of Laphroaig. It's awesome to be able to do it with you, man.
It's a special place, man. I mean, Lila in general is a special place. So.
Definitely. Well, Whiskey Ace, what's up, guys? He just came on board. Swami's about to go live here in a couple minutes, so let's swing over to his channel for a while. And I'm going to go get some water so I don't crash.
Cheers, Doug.
All right, cheers, man. Thanks so much for stopping by and doing the Laphroaig trip with me. Appreciate it.
So give me about 5 minutes and I should be up. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And for all you guys who want to join in, you can just join in.
Nice.
Very cool. I won't close
right.
it for you, Pat. Go ahead and post that up so it goes in there, and then I have a record of it, hopefully. Capture.
Night Telex, and see you in a bit there, Steve. I'm going to get set up.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Later.
Later.